This is King Bo Christ, and you're now tuned in to the I Say That to Say This show.
Hello, world. The fuck out of this shit.
Look at this. I just started the audio, and she already talking about what I gotta delete. God damn. Welcome to episode 35, I think.
You should know.
I don't keep track. The numbers lie too, no matter what they tell you.
You make the numbers. All right. You're getting started early, I say.
Yes! I got a good friend here on the podcast. Someone I've known since, I think he used to wipe your ass, actually. No, seriously.
That's called molestation.
I know. Oh, see, damn, we ain't even 40 seconds in. This is crazy. No, seriously, I've known you since I was born. You were born.
Yes, you're older than me.
Because I'm a little older than you, allegedly. But, Alexa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So, you're back in New York, obviously.
Briefly.
How's life in VA? Or wherever you are?
I would say, first of all, I couldn't tell you. Don't live there.
The DMV.
No, life in D.C. is good.
D.C.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing the family
With
thing.
the Obamas?
Yeah. I guess they were my neighbors, technically. I ain't seen them yet.
Yeah.
I ain't seen them.
You might run through. If you see some 5 Yukons come through back to back, that's my man Big O.
Yo.
You know what we could start? We could start with episode 5. Remember that when I sent you that episode that you weren't fond of?
Oh, you really gonna blindside me like
that.
Oh,
no, I didn't even mean to do that. You know, it just came to me like it just hit me.
Okay.
I didn't set you up.
You did, but
no, I did not. No, only Maury Povich exploits niggas. I'm not here to do that. You're my friend.
I can't trust you. Your collar's tucked in.
I can't even argue that. I'm like, you're true. You're right. You put it that way.
Okay, what about it?
You know what? Let's shoot straight to the point. Like, why do you care about poor people so much?
Nigga, I'm poor. What are you saying?
I'm poor too. I'm a struggling artist. That's why I know I don't want this for myself.
That's fine and all, but poor people don't generally choose to be poor. That's not a choice, especially when it comes to people of color.
That is pretty good. They do say.
Yo, it's just delicious.
Tastes like apple juice.
Okay, I won't go that far.
But yeah, I know people of color. They don't have a choice. But see, this is where it gets tricky.
No, it's not where it gets tricky.
I guess we shouldn't have started here. I probably should have slow rolled this.
You probably should have.
But it just came to me.
Tricky because for you tend to think, if you work hard enough and all that good stuff, which is true, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are things that are in place to make it extremely difficult for people to leave poverty. Why do I care about poor people? Like, I'm poor. My parents was poor. My folks been poor. Like, what do I look like? Fuck these niggas because they broke?
No, I didn't say that. That now you're making me sound like a rapper. And that's not who I am. I'm a struggling podcaster.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, I forget what were we talking. Damn, what was it? It was something I totally blew out of context, which is totally my style on Twitter. Like, I forget the rant. I forget the exact rant.
Oh, that I was having?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Poor people aren't supposed to go on vacation or some bullshit like that.
Right. Sure. That's what it was.
But it's like people just have a really distorted view of poor people. Like, they're not allowed to have happiness. They're not allowed to enjoy things. Like, when you hear people talk about not being able... Well, making it so that people can't buy lobster and steak on food stamps. Like, nigga, why do you care? You want them to only buy processed foods? Then you're going to judge them for having a cart full of junk. Like,
True.
It's food.
See, I don't agree with that. Like, I feel like, should you go to the Aqueduct Casino? Obviously not. But if you want to eat filet mignon with your whatever money you get, that's your business. Like, I
don't think that there's an issue with traveling. Oh, that's where it started. Somebody said, if you can't afford to go on vacation, maybe, stop spending money and go to a food pantry. And I was like, well, that's just the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. I agree that you can save and find ways to cut corners, but like at that point, you're sacrificing like the quality of life of your family to go to Disney World, and that's just stupid. But I do think that you should be able to travel. You should want to travel, and I don't think you should be judged for doing it, even if you're a poor. Like, I am a poor, and I definitely go on vacation.
That makes it sound so horrible. See, I'll be joking with you.
Because that's how the people talk about us. And I'm
poor is us, nigga. You not poor. You got on the turtleneck, my G.
What the fuck? Poor people wear turtlenecks?
No, they don't. Niggas' necks don't be warm.
I may not be living on the streets, but like I'm far from well off.
That's what my problem was. I'm like, you don't be trying to fucking relate to poor people. You ain't poor, my G.
All right.
You got like
we just got different visions of what poorness is. But
can I have your definition of poor? My definition of poor is like,
I think your definition is a literal definition, and I just mean that I'm not rich. Granted, my family, we're not shopping in the food pantries and things like that. So don't take me as being very literal in that sense. But I am a person of limited means. I don't have it like that. And I think the difference between you and I is I tend to be more empathetic. So I will speak and say us as opposed to them. Those brokies over there.
I'll say them. Like
I know you will.
I don't want to be a part of that shit.
Will.
I've been poor my whole life and I ain't going back.
That's fine. You shouldn't want to go back, but that's okay.
See,
but I just feel like it gets to be really condescending when people speak of how poor people are and how poor people live and how they spend their money and what they should be doing, and don't buy sneakers because if you didn't get those Jordans, you would be able to do this, and it's dumb. That one pair of Jordan isn't the reason why they're still in poverty.
True.
The fact that they have an iPhone isn't the reason why they're still in the projects. Like, that one iPhone that they sacrifice isn't somehow going to make it possible for them to live in a nice neighborhood.
And that's true. I actually saw this, it was like Inc. magazine or something. It was like the cost of the newest iPhone, if you're going to have it for 2 years, comes down to less than a cup of coffee a day. And I was like, all right, when you put it that way, like fucking $2, like it's really not going to make a difference in your life. So I do agree with that. And I'm not one of those people, even though I joke about it a lot, I'm not one of those people for the listeners who are just listening. She rolled her eyes at me, but I'm not one of those, like, I wouldn't feel like, look at this nigga in Jordans. This is just ridiculous. My problem and my issue with people who complain about, I don't want to say poor people anymore because you said condescending and it made me feel like a little bit bad, a little bit.
You have the tendency to do that.
I'm an asshole, but okay. I think people need that. I think you can't be nice to people. Like, if you want to push someone to do something, you can't baby them, and I ain't going to pat your head. You got to kick them in the ass.
The opposite of condescension is babying. I think you can speak to people directly and respectfully without talking down to them.
Yeah, there's something to that. But I know myself. Like, I think I don't even mean to be the way I am. So if I was like, well, like, I think it would come off more condescending if I didn't just shoot straight how I am. If that makes sense
what
in
you're
some
saying,
weird way.
But I think they're two extremes.
There's something to that. But I just feel my problem is with people that complain. Like, there's no fucking jobs, or I can't even afford a vacation. And I feel like, I think that's where I took out of because I missed the whole rant because I'm mad ignorant. I take what I want to take out of things.
You do.
But I saw you were like, poor people should be able to go on vacation if you could even save up like $2 a day, or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like, yeah, that's very true. Like, just because you're in a bad situation, don't feel like you can't ever get anything off. The
funny thing about that, I didn't say that. Somebody else said that. The guy about the food pantry. So that was his suggestion. Take that money, save it for your vacation, and then go get some free food. At which point, when I repeated it, I was mocking him because that's utterly ridiculous.
And then I swoop in like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't agree with that.
I swoop in like, right on.
If you can reasonably save, of course, do that. If you can sacrifice a cup of coffee here and, your loose change there, go ahead and do that. But that's not what that guy was saying. So when you do swoop in and miss a whole bunch of context, no.
It's 2017. Shit happens fast. Now we got 280 characters, so maybe I'll catch
those
the whole
280 characters, man. People don't want us to read at this point.
No?
Too many characters. No, it changes the whole, context of what Twitter is. It forces you to be succinct in your thoughts. You give people.
What does succinct mean? Don't be using those words. I don't know.
You have your computer open in front of you. Google it.
I'm here talking to you. I don't want to do my Googles.
It forces you to be concise. It forces you to choose your words carefully. You give people 280 words, and you already have people who feel very self-important. They think every thought that they have is very important. Most of the time, a lot of the time, it is not important. And it's not always well thought out. And they take these grand stances and they want to preach to their followers, and it's not good. And now you're giving them more characters to do this shit.
True. And I know some people are probably listening like, yeah, you motherfucker, but...
Hi, key.
But see, my shit don't... Like, that's the thing. Like, I may say some bad things about people, but I don't feel like I ridicule people. Like, if someone's actually poor and...
Actually poor. I'm sorry.
Like, if someone's, like, homeless on the streets, I'm not like, look at this motherfucker. My problem is, like, a nigga with Wi-Fi. Like, bro, you got Wi-Fi. Don't be over here talking about how shitty your life is. Like, where are you that you on Twitter complaining? Like, that's what gets me. Like, I think that's more my problem. Like, if you're on Facebook, like, damn, shit ain't right. Like, you could be out using your time being more productive to I don't want to say productive, because that again sounds condescending. But, like... Don't fucking complain about it and then be on Twitter using niggas' free Wi-Fi. Like, that's bottom line my problem. Like, you know what, bro? If you're out here, like, complaining about jobs, just some stupid shit, I feel the need to make fun of you. Because there's actual people with real fucking problems that are not complaining about it on the internet.
Here we go. Just that fast. Condescending again. For one, who are you to say what somebody's problems are?
True.
How are you to determine what is real to them?
If
you're using Twitter, your own barometer to somebody else's life. You don't know what the hell people are dealing with.
I feel like if you're really dealing with something that crazy, do you take it to the internet? Is that where we are?
Who are you talking to? I live tweet most things that happen with me regarding, like, my mental illness, for one. Yeah, a lot of people do. Because for some people, it grants them access to people who understand, who relate, who have a shared experience, whereas the people around them in day-to-day life can't relate. Now, it's a better example than old boy in somebody's basement borrowing Wi-Fi talking shit. But, yeah, sometimes when things are that crazy, people do take to the internet.
Okay. Can we get into that? It took me, 2017? When did you start your Twitter? 2010, April. Damn, that boy is good.
Oh, creepy.
That too. But it took me you started in 2009.
Does it say it on my page? I don't know.
I do my research.
Yeah, I think it's 2000.
Because I started in 2010. I saw your name, your at name. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's bipolar her, right?
Yes.
I still can't. Like, I thought I had it figured out. Like, I thought it was some kinky shit at first.
It was some gay shit.
Yeah, I did, because it was like bipolar, and I was like, all right, there's some bisexual. It said pole, and then there's a girl. It said her, so I'm like, all right, like, if that's what you, like, when I came across it, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, wait, I know her.
Double entendre.
That's what I was like, this shit is ill.
Don't even ask me how.
And then I was starting to look at your tweets, and I was like, oh. Actually, I think this is something else. Like, I was like, okay, so...
It's not girl on girl.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no, this isn't this is not what I signed up for, but since we're here, cool. So, like you said before, you feel like you live tweet just your life, how it comes to you. Mm-hmm. See, I live tweet the jokes. Like, I live tweet stupid shit. That's why I feel like we're like the... polar opposites of
did there.
Yeah, you like that? I gotta put in the drum roll.
When I first started tweeting, like, I look back at some of those tweets and I was fucking insufferable. Whack as hell, corny, didn't know how to, like, tweet properly. Like, I would abbreviate words that should not have been abbreviated. Like, I used Twitter very differently in, like, 2009, 2010. And after a while, I was getting on my own nerves. I'm like, I can't keep tweeting like this. Like, I gotta get this shit together. So, I took a break, came back. I'm like, I'm gonna change my name. Because I was so whack that my at name was like my name. Like, it was A.T. Mason. Like, that's how whack my first Twitter account was.
Like AOL.
Yeah.
Like, my first fucking AOL name was CQWERTY55. That's crazy.
I think I was Sexy Lexi for AIM.
That's wild. I mean, but that's actually like that's regular. But using your real name, my G.
Well, it was the initials,
crazy.
but yeah, I didn't know what else to put. I'm like, I don't have an alias. So I'm like, what am I going to talk about on here? Because I thought Twitter, getting a sandwich.
I don't know why that was so funny, but that's real shit. Like that's what I thought when I first
it was
signed
at
up
first.
for
Like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why are we doing this?
Waiting in the subway.
Right. But then I realized, there are different subsets of Twitter, and I just started poking around, and I kind of fell into
Poke was
Philly.
Facebook.
As in the verb,
okay.
as in looking around, sir. And I noticed, different groups, and I kind of fell into Philly Twitter for a while, which was really weird because I've never actually been to Philadelphia, and just started like hanging around. And I got a new feel from like, you know what? I'm going to change my name. I'm going to be somebody in these Twitter streets. What's significant about me? So yeah, I decided that I would go forward as bipolar, and I've never changed it. I don't think I would because that shit's so perfect.
I don't think you should change it.
I would try and do it again. That shit would be whack as fuck.
Yeah, I don't think you should change it because it got me like, the fuck does this mean? And then like once I started looking at your tweets, I was like, oh shit. And it really is. It was actually intriguing. It was like it just fits. I don't know why it works. It just fucking works. And I don't know if it's because I actually know you in real life or because of it may be the combination. I don't know, but I wouldn't say change.
I'll take it. But yeah, I definitely use my platform. I bullshit around. I love the jokes. But I will definitely take any opportunity that I can to be transparent about what I deal with. I have bipolar disorder. I have anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. And it's been invaluable for me because in my day-to-day life, there aren't that many people who share that or who are able to speak of it in a way that's like worth a damn. And so being able to connect with other people and just be, I don't know, open about it and not have to, pretend that I don't have all this going on.
Sure.
Has been very helpful for me.
Did you, I feel like I have I think everyone has their own levels of anxiety, but do you feel like did you go to a specialist? Like, did a white man tell you got I'm just kidding. Your face is hilarious right now.
I'm glad
because
it's
you told me like 20 minutes ago, you're going to get cursed the fuck out tonight. And I was like, yeah, probably. But
you're going to sit here and talk about the white man's diagnosis, because that's what we not going to do.
No, in all seriousness, like, I know I was joking, kind of. But, like, did you see, like, a doctor? And I don't believe in that specialist shit. I don't think, like, I think you can Google something. Like, if you feel like those are your symptoms or whatever, I was trying to be funny. But seriously, like, did you feel like I need to talk to someone, and you went to speak to someone and they were like, this is what's wrong with you?
You're asking several questions at one time.
That's how I roll. I ain't
that's
even hit the weed
fine,
yet.
but I'm going to make sure I can address what you're saying to me. Yes, I was diagnosed clinically, and
clinically, that's the word I was looking for.
I do think that self-diagnosis serves a purpose. That's when you're sitting at home like, all right, something is wrong, and you go to WebMD or wherever the hell, find out that you have cancer and possibly some anxiety. So, yeah, maybe I should go to the doctor, and then from there, you can begin some real treatment.
That was real. That's real shit. Like, everybody's like, oh, fuck, I got AIDS. And you go look at the shit.
But, yeah, I went to my first therapist in 2006. That was when I was first formally diagnosed. I was re-diagnosed in, I want to say around 2010. When did I know that something was wrong? I really don't think I'm going to go too far into that, but I had an early onset for bipolar disorder, which is not common, but it usually coincides with early childhood trauma. So I started experiencing symptoms around 11 or 12 years old.
Now, what exactly happens during being bipolar? Because I know I'm fucking crazy, but I don't think I have like a I'm afraid to know if you want the truth. Like, I joke about the white man telling, but I'm afraid to see a specialist.
Well, you're incredibly narcissistic. We can start there.
That's true. See, I tell people,
You
like,
can't deny that shit.
That's why.
That's a part of your personality at the same time.
That's why I don't think. That's why it's kind of normal to me. But I know I'm a little fucked up because I mean it. But so what? What happens with what happens with being bipolar? Like, do you feel like you wake up some mornings and you're just like off and or is it after you're like, what happened yesterday?
That's a
loaded
it's a loaded question. I'm going to be very careful with my words here. As far as
you are on the record.
I am on the record, and I'm going to probably be,
and I want to make that clear,
hella vague. But the basic, symptoms are, the depression on one side and the mania or hypomania on the other side. There's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is far more severe. I won't say far more because I don't want to diminish anybody else's experience. I happen to have bipolar 2, which means that I experience more depressive episodes than manic, or hypomania, which is a lesser degree of mania, which is the up. The mood swings are a thing. It's not as dramatic as film and TV may have it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like, fuck you, nigga, and start crying. Like, that's not what's gonna happen.
Okay.
But like, things can, trigger you, set your mood off. You could be having a good day and then, feeling a little somber. That happens. Depression manifests differently for different people.
Sure.
You can
and that I know is true.
Undereat. You can sleep a lot. Like, you can gain weight, lose weight. You can be irritable. You can have like a short temper. And, with the mania or the hypomania, that's usually when you're going to see like promiscuity or substance abuse or risky behavior, like driving recklessly or spending money that you don't have or shoplifting and shit like that. So
wait, that could be, I never knew that. So, see, that's why I think it's fucked up, because something I think is normal, someone could really be going through something and, like, you think, this guy's just out of his fucking mind. But he could actually, like,
he
clinically
could be out of his mind, yeah.
I don't want to say out of his mind, but,
I can say it. You can't say it.
It's fucking podcast facts. Like, people know what I'm talking about.
I can say it. You can't say it.
Why can't I say it? See, that's the problem with America.
You get your diagnosis,
nigga.
nigga, and you can talk shit, all right? You can talk about my people like that.
Okay, all right. It's
gang,
one of those, see, there you go with the shit. So, do you feel like that stops you from doing what you want to do? I personally, from being outside the box, let me just say,
hella deep. Okay.
Listen, if you want me to, I really just like informing the people, and not even about the people. Like, I know you as my friend, so let me just also give my disclaimer. Like, this podcast is not. I don't look at it like. Like Oprah or some shit. No, I'm not.
Are you comparing yourself to?
No, I'm not that crazy. Oprah's the GOAT. I'm just saying, like, I respect Oprah. That's on record in my podcast. But or like Maury Povich, like, I think they just sit there and let people fucking just explode and make a fool of themselves. But I actually am genuinely curious, like, for my own. I don't Google shit. Like, I don't want to Google anything. I want to talk to someone and hear a real life experience and learn that way. Like, I could sit here and Google bipolar depression and then look at and fucking read and think I have the answers, but that shit don't count to me. If I speak to someone, that's how I get my information.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Now, where was I? Because I don't even remember what I had.
You started to say, do you feel that having bipolar stops you from, and then... Oh,
and I was saying, like, from being outside the box, like, you're an established individual. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, you do cool shit. You fucking, you graduated early, like, in high school. I'm like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I don't feel like... And I didn't know this about you until like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't feel like it's ever stopped you from being great, if that makes sense. Now, you said I was getting deep, so this is obviously a loaded.
I appreciate you pointing out some of my accomplishments. I worked hard for them, but the thing is, I worked hard for what I've achieved. despite my bipolar disorder, and the bipolar disorder and the other diagnoses are a driving force in the fact that I'm just hyper aware of the life that I could potentially lead. And so being able to look and say that this is something that I've done on the low days is helpful because it shows me that I am capable. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because you can look at the same accomplishments and feel like, what are you doing with it? And you can feel very stagnant. You can feel very worthless. And there's a lot of negative talk that accompanies anxiety and accompanies depression. I've accomplished a lot. I've been through a lot. And some days I sit and I'm like, damn, son, you did that shit. And then other days it's like, why do you even try? Because all of this shit has happened to you. What do you have to really show for it? And it's just the flip of a coin. There are many things that I wanted to do, and I can be frank and say that I feel like the depression has stripped that from me. But that's something that I'm still kind of sorting through. I'm doing the best that I can with what I'm equipped with right now. So I'm proud of what I have accomplished. The next phase of my life is going to be trying to establish new goals because the ones that I had, I've already reached them. And that's not like a brag or anything.
Nah, that's real shit. We gotta
No,
take a
it's legit
drink to that
not
one.
a
That's
brag.
ill. No, that's ill. I love PC. That's why I think you're ill, because I love to see people accomplishing their goals.
I'll take it.
No. Hey, listen, I don't know. I don't got a round of applause button here, but we'll edit it in.
Oh, God.
So that's really cool to me. And I think not even just myself, but I think people need to hear that, because they're like, you tweet and you want people to, so people could know, like, yo, there's people out here like you, and you don't let anything hold you back. And this is my story, and I'm moving forward. I do think people need to hear that.
That's beautiful, but you're making me sound far more inspirational than I am.
Don't sell yourself short.
It's
I'm not even going to let you
selling
sit here and sell yourself short.
No, because that's not what I feel that I'm saying.
I can't let you do that.
I think that's what you're getting from it, and that's beautiful.
I take what I want from everything.
Clearly.
So you can't, but
that's
you can't.
Beautiful. Like, if somebody gets that from what I'm saying, like, yeah, more power. I'm not going to go to that person and be like, but check it, bitch. That's not really what it is. Like, go ahead, take your inspiration. But my goal in being so transparent is let you know that this shit is fucking hard. This shit is fucking hard. Every day is hard. And I know that I can make some things look easy. Nothing about the last 25 years of my life has been easy. Why are you smiling at me?
Because did you just try to shave points on your age, my G? Like,
no, I'm thinking about the turn of events, my dude.
Oh, I thought I wasn't. See, nobody can see me, but I smiled. I'm like 25, my nigga. Really, like, bro.
Listen, I'm too young to lie about my age. Get a break.
But no, what you were saying, like, nothing about that has been easy.
Nothing about it's been easy, and it's not about selling myself short. I don't want to give the inclination that if I work hard enough, like, my bipolar won't hold me back. Because that's bullshit. I have zero control of what my brain does. And that's a very sobering reality. And I'm, like, starkly aware of that. And I try to carry myself the best that I can with that knowledge. Like, I can choose certain things, I can put effort into certain things, but ultimately what this shit does, and I'm pointing to my head, what that does, that's on its own. That chemical shit, that the chemical imbalance is real. The way a brain looks after trauma is real. And I just try my best to be transparent about the various symptoms or the various situations I found myself in and how they relate to this stuff. So, yeah, I have some accomplishments. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, those are good. But it's more so a goal of just letting you know that, yeah, these things are possible. And yeah, I can look to them, but I'm still going to deal with the same shit that you do.
True.
Yeah, I got these degrees and all, like, my family's dope and all that shit, but I still go through my depression. And I still wake up and, like, don't want to get out of bed sometimes. And I still have to cheer myself up to, like, just go brush your teeth. Yeah, you did that. Great day. Like, that's your accomplishment today. Mm-hmm. And that's real as fuck. So it's absolutely not about work hard and this ain't gonna hold you. Like, fuck that. It's work hard and get to the next day.
Constant, but every second.
Every day.
Wow.
Bossy Igby is a poet turned writer. She used to do spoken word, and one thing that she says all the time is allow yourself morning or something like that. And morning is in the AM. So I literally go through every single day. My ultimate goal is the next day. So if I make it to bedtime, that's a good day. If amazing things happen in that time, even better. But I'm just very aware of the way that this shit can ravage someone's life. And the next stage in me talking about finding new goals isn't a lofty thing. That's why I was like, I'm not trying to like humble brag. Like literally I have to find a new identity for my future because I can see the way that my illnesses have shaped me as a person. I'm very different from who I was 10, 15 years ago.
Sure.
So the next stage is trying to find out where we're going next. Which I guess still sounds kind of like inspirational, but
that's fucking like that shit is beautiful. Like but I'm not gonna cry. But
well, please don't.
No, I'm just saying. Like I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I guess like I'm not gonna. But I think people even listening would be like, yeah, no, good for you, because you make it sound, I guess because you do deal with it every day, so it's normal to you. But to me, it's like, nah, that takes a lot. For me to hear you say, like, it takes a lot to get up and brush your fucking teeth or just get out of the bed, or like you said, the poet turned writer, allow yourself morning, is like, wow, when you think about it that way, like, damn, if you feel like you made it to 12 noon, like you got out of bed, you got on the fucking subway or got in your car, whatever you did and went to work, and you feel like, wow, I didn't think I was gonna make it. By 12 o'clock, that's major. And all jokes, I joke a lot on this podcast and in my real life, but that's really major.
Every single day. It doesn't stop.
That's almost scary.
It's very scary.
Sure.
And that's why I talk about it, because I feel like there's obviously there are misconceptions, but I think they're just people who really don't know what this shit looks like. And there are people in their life who very well may have it and haven't disclosed to them, or have it and have no fucking idea. So if having the insight from me being so candid allows you to be a little more understanding to somebody that's around you, or even elicits some sort of concern, like, man, that's how my sister is sometimes, maybe she should talk to somebody, then I feel good about having shared my shit. Like, I can talk about it till the day is long, though, so.
I mean, no, I think it's good to hear. And I've been through a lot of shit in my life. And do I feel like I think about it? I think about it probably every day. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's good or bad, but I suppress it. I guess suppressing it is terrible. But sometimes, no, to be honest, like, and that's why I want to have these conversations, because I feel like as a man, like, it's just what you're supposed to do. But then as the world opens up, and it's so fucking, I don't have the word for it, like, I guess trivial. Someone said this word, so I'm not sure. But
well, let's see where we're going with it, I'll let you know.
It's so trivial, but like to see someone's tweets and be like, wow, like I see, like being on Twitter, I'm like, wow, like I think that's as small and it's how men are supposed to be, but it's not. Like you actually should talk to someone and you should discover that about yourself. That's not fucking normal deal with that stress.
Or not.
I probably would still have nice waves if I talked about this shit at a very young age.
You did have some glorious hair.
I'm just saying the fucking stress. I don't know. Like who knows? But that's another story.
No, I agree with you. It's not natural and it's not healthy at all. And I'm grateful also that not just me, there are a bunch of us on Twitter who are very candid about our experiences with mental illness, including men. And I think that those conversations that take place because another guy sees another dude talking very openly about his feelings, the feelings, it's okay. And maybe he'll talk about it more. And maybe it'll spread some more because it needs to happen. The mental health of the Black man especially, like, y'all need to talk to people. Like, that stress that's built up, like, the anger that y'all don't... Sorry for the generalizations. But so many of y'all don't know how to process is damaging, not just to you, but to the people around you. So I think it's very important that y'all find some way to explore those thoughts and those feelings and just do the work that's necessary to be better.
That's very true. I feel like I just learned how to love.
That's real as shit. The fact that you even think that you know how to love is pretty astounding. Not as
no, that was
not
a shot.
You as a person.
You shot me down out of the sky. No. Let's call it what it is.
As a Black man of your age, for you to even think that you know how to love, to me, is pretty impressive. Because you have super grown, like, we're adults, but I mean, like, super grown 40, 50, 60-year-old dudes out here who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's why I think it's crazy, because it comes to me now at 29, like, oh, I've been doing it wrong all these years. You know what I mean?
A lot of us be doing it wrong, because what are we looking to? Not all of us come from good homes.
Sure.
If you don't have that example, I think it's often very difficult to exemplify it. Like, you are just feeling it out and learning in trial by error. And in that trial by error, you hurt people.
Of course.
But you don't know any better.
That's why. That's exactly why I said, yeah, sure.
That's why I said it was astounding, but I wasn't trying to, like,
no, I get it.
You know how to love somebody?
You don't know how to love nobody, but
can you spell love? Like, I wasn't coming at you like that.
Sure, but that's and like you said, what are we looking to? And when you said that, I'm like, shit, what did I look to? Because, you know, your parents can be. My parents got married. I was a little older, actually. I think I was like 8 when my parents got married. But in my head, it wasn't like, oh, they're married, things are perfect. It didn't mean the same to me. Like, being in the house and seeing what the fuck's going on, I'm like, all right, the fuck's the point of this? If we dysfunctional as a motherfucker, you know? So, and you see, like, and then my mom also, like, after, you know, later in the years, probably like at 12 or whatever it was, being like a single mom or whatever, and back and forth, you see, like, both sides of it, and you don't know what's normal. And then, I mean, it's a fucked up segue, but like, you look towards Bill Cosby, you look towards a motherfucker like, well, just what's on TV or what's around you. You know what I'm saying?
I need to be clear here. I did not look to Bill Cosby.
Really?
I looked to Dr. Huxtable, and I am aware of the difference.
Wow. You know, let me tell you something.
That difference is very important to me.
That's why I said this is a fucked up segue. Because to me, it was the same. I don't know who Bill Cosby was. I knew Dr. Huxtable. Like, I thought J-Lo was Selena. Like, I know that's stupid, but I really, like, in my young fucking stupid brain, it wasn't acting almost. Like, in my young brain, I'm like, oh shit, a doctor and a lawyer and this is perfect. Got a brownstone in Brooklyn. This is the American dream.
Yeah, unlike you, I wasn't so delusional. I love the show. I think you of all people have a very unique insight into how much I love that show.
Yo, listen, let me tell you. Oh, God. That's how I know. Like, yo, you was... First of all, you went to fucking Howard, all right? So, like, that is, like, I feel like you... How many episodes was it? Do you know?
Of what?
Of the Cosby Show.
Seasons, I think we were about, like, 8 or 9 seasons.
We'll say 100 episodes just for conversation purposes. I feel like you've saw 100 each episode like at least twice, because
you're selling me short.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, like, way short. Because I'm like, damn. I remember coming to your house like, God damn, I didn't see this shit like 4 times. You still watching this shit? Like, I know, Theo. I know what's gonna happen. You know.
Full disclosure. They have it on Amazon Prime. So, like, technology has grown with me. I used to watch it on VHS. Now I can just flip it on whenever I want to.
That's another
Amazon
thing.
Prime.
DVD players was out.
I have
you
the
still
DVD
had the VHS
set.
Though, and I'm like, nigga,
well, I didn't
move
get the DVD
on.
set until like 2 years ago. It was like, nostalgia.
So you knew the difference between Bill Cosby and Dr. Huxtable?
I mean, I was aware that they were acting. I was still able to look to the show and just For me, it was an escape. Like I said, I had a lot of childhood trauma. I watched that show and I was able to get lost in it. It was something that made me feel very happy. And even if they weren't real, I could appreciate, certain dynamics like Claire and the children, Cliff and Claire and all that. I mean, even now as an adult, I can watch it and see some problematic shit, but
Sure.
It did enough for me that I had some hope for like a family. Because if I looked around, I love you guys. If I looked around at my parents, I would never be with anybody. I would never marry. I would never have children.
Sure.
Like individually, like they're dope people. Together, that was just something that did not need to happen. And as a child, I could see that. And you mentioned the dysfunction. Like to see that, that's not what I wanted to mirror. That's not what I wanted for my life. And the Cosbys were, the Huxtables were an extremely positive example, not too realistic because that's just not how life works, but it was enough for me to have some sort of hope.
I thought it was realistic in a sense that, and I know what you mean. Like I know what you mean. Like sure, it's a TV show, but I thought like 80% of it was. That's probably high also. Like 80% of it was realistic, so that was good enough for me. You know what I mean? Like I know. I'm telling. I really didn't separate it until I was older. Like, oh shit, this shit is. Oh, somebody's right. Oh, these are lines. Okay, this is. And I know that seems ridiculous, but it's true. Like, it's what I really looked at as.
Well, it's not ridiculous because I think that there's probably an exceptional amount of people out there who feel so strongly about Bill Cosby and the allegations against him because they weren't able to separate the two. Now, even though I love the Cosby Show, I was also aware of his other works. So he wasn't Dr. Huxtable when he was doing the voice of Fat Albert. Like, it's just logically it didn't work that way.
Gotcha. What's that other movie you did? Damn. Was it Ghost Man? What the fuck was that?
Yeah,
shit?
Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad was ill. Ghost Dad was ill.
But yeah, so when it comes down to like the allegations against him, when I first heard, like this was years ago. I think this was before Hannibal had blew the lid off.
That was crazy, by the way. But
I was just like, no. No,
don't you dare!
Not Dr. Huxtable. You will not take this from me. I blocked it out. I'm not going to deal with this shit. And then Hannibal happened, and if you're not aware, Hannibal basically had a set, and it wasn't even a bit. It wasn't a joke. He was just very clear, like Bill Cosby rapes women, and somebody picked it up. They recorded it, put it on YouTube, and it spread. And people who had no idea were suddenly forced to face the fact that Bill Cosby allegedly drugs and rapes women.
Ain't no fucking allegedly. At this point, if you would have said it then, if you said allegedly, I would have been like, I would have probably said allegedly.
I'm saying allegedly because...
No, fuck that. Ain't no allegedly.
Listen... I'm saying allegedly because I think legally you're supposed to say allegedly.
Man, listen.
I know the nigga did it. I believe the nigga did it. I have no doubt that he did this shit. So I'm not saying allegedly to take up for him.
Okay.
But to cover my own ass and yours too. I believe you're supposed to say allegedly.
Audit the motherfucking podcast. He did that shit. But as you were saying, guilty as fuck. Listen, one woman, fine. 4 women... maybe there's a little bit of he's in cahoots. Like 30 women, 40 nigga, you did that shit. But that's also where I want to go, because when I first heard it, I'm like, Bill Cosby wouldn't do that. I'm like, why would Bill Cosby have to give women the Spanish fly?
Why? I cannot. But like, that's not a good question.
No, but that's what I'm just telling you.
I know, but I'm just posing it to you, like, why wouldn't he? Like, there's no...
And the crazy thing is how I want people to, when I say, why would Bill Cosby do that? I want them to be stumped. If you would have said to me the same, like 1 second after, why wouldn't he? Or why would he? Whatever. The weed just hit me, so I mixed myself up. But if you would have said that right after, I would have been like, oh yeah. I would have had the same, like, oh, I actually don't have an answer for that.
But,
so...
Because it's not about anything beyond power. It's about power. So when you have these men out here, oh, he's so handsome, he's so rich, he could have anybody. Why would he do that? because he can.
Yeah.
And he knows that he can, and he knows that he'll likely get away with it, if not forever, for a long ass time. And there will be people who protect him and who defend him. And they're aware of the fact that if somebody comes forward, they're going to get dragged through the mud. They're going to be analyzed. They're going to be questioned. They're going to be defended. That's kind of changing a little bit right now. Oh, hell
yeah. Very fast.
They shaking the table.
Fast.
I'm here for this shit.
Very
I am
fast.
Here for it.
And that's also what I wanted to get into. Like, I just saw, it was just yesterday, these Louis C.K. things came out.
And he owned it, though.
That's what fucked me up. Him and Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, I didn't feel like he directly owned. He didn't. Louis C.K. was. He didn't
own it, but
the allegations are true.
Yeah, right, sure. And that, like, Spacey was like, it was the 80s, like, but to me that was like the
that's basically what Bill Cosby said.
Right,
it was
a different time. Louis C.K. fucked me up. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, he's not even. And the crazy, I saw him like a couple months ago at the Comedy Cellar. He was going to try some jokes, and it was he was just out doing his thing. And I was like, wow. Like, I was happy to see it. Like, I went in, it's Comedy Cellar. I don't know what the fuck. I actually text you after, because I remember being like, I'm looking, and I was sitting up in that little box they have on the second floor, and I was like, I'm like, I think I've been here before. And I walked outside and saw the sign, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, it was the fucking, fat black pussycat or some crazy shit. And that's why I text you. Yeah, exactly. And I text you like, wow, the craziest thing just happened. But anyway, so when I saw him, I was like happy to see him. It was cool. And then when I saw these allegations, I guess if he admitted to them, but I'll just say allegations to move on. But I saw that, and I was like, damn, like, you see someone, and you're like so happy to see them, and you're like, wow, this human being is real. And then that split moment, when I heard that, I was like, damn, on the other side of that, someone who he destroyed their life has to watch people love him on television, and that fucked me up. Like, I was just like, oh man.
I really appreciate that you're having these like thoughts and this insight. That's really good.
That's the God's honest truth, though. Like, if you appreciate it, I guess I thank you. But
you really shouldn't thank me, and I shouldn't feel that way.
No, that's why it's fucked up. Yeah. But that's why I have to. That's why I say like thanks. I guess like that means my morals are in order.
Thanks for being a decent human being.
But it really, like, I was just like, oh man. And it got me to sit back and think. And that's what my problem, like, that's the most fucked up part about it, is exactly what you said. It's about the power. Because these guys could sleep with, I'm not saying any woman, I don't mean that, but after a show, they could be like, they could say on the mic like, yo, listen, anybody who wants to go home with me tonight, meet me over at the end of the bar over there. You girls can line up, and I'll decide which one. It's going to be, out of like 100 people, like, it'd be at least like 3. You know what I'm saying? So these guys have their options, but to them, it's not about that. They don't want those 3. They want one of the ones who don't want them, and they want to, like...
They want to overpower them. They want to coerce them. They want to convince them. They want to change their mind. It's all really sick and twisted, and there's just a common theme in a lot of the stories that are unfolding, and it's totally the powerful man and the up-and-coming, or the underage who's automatically at a disadvantage and defenseless, in my opinion. Like, why is that? I
was gonna go down the R. Kelly road, but I held it like.
Can we talk about that nigga?
All right, see, that's why I laughed, because I was gonna move past it, but like, please, like, while we're here,
there's no moving past it, because there are not enough people talking about this dude.
I feel like that's why I laughed, because it's not funny, because I feel like I'm like, wow, like, no one cares about him. Like, I feel like he gets the pass. The ill pass.
That's a question, but I don't even think I want to put that out there.
No, go ahead. Ask.
No.
This is the podcast. This is the I Say That to Say This podcast. We got to do it.
All right.
For the culture.
You know, you're young. You grow. You learn. Didn't we watch that video together?
The first time I saw it was with Dash. Shannon.
Okay. Well, I know who he is.
I know, but I just... oh, wow. I just said his real name. You're not supposed to do that. But I feel like... I just remember that. If you said we watched it, I don't know if it was my first time, but we probably watched it together. And you got to think also, just full disclaimer to the listeners, I was like 12 when this shit. What was it?
No, granted, that's why I preface my
yeah, right. Like, I want to say, well, this wasn't a couple summers ago.
I absolutely would not watch that now. But we were teenagers. We were.
I don't even think. When did it come out? 1999. That I'll Google.
God, we were either preteens or teenagers, and I was curious, frankly, and I just
you can't even Google R. Kelly sex tape. Like, that's crazy. I don't want that kind of.
Don't give it the clicks. Don't give it the clicks. We'll guesstimate.
I don't want that kind of smoke.
Don't give it the clicks. We'll guesstimate. But yeah, the point was that we were kids, sure. And I do remember watching it. And for a long time, I remember having some of those same thoughts like, oh, I don't care. I like the music. What was she doing there? Like, I was young. I did not know any damn better. And I know that the way that I was raised, not a knock to anybody who did it in my raising, but there's a lot of like misogynistic values that are taught to us, a lot of patriarchal shit. So we look at a girl dealing with the older man, she's more times than not going to get the crazy looks. 2002. So yeah, I was
14.
12.
Yeah. Well, I was 13 in February 2002.
Okay. Good math. But right now, I can't ignore this dude, and he's disgusting to me. Like, his face has changed for me. I see his face, and I feel
exactly what
disgust.
You're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about because R. Kelly is my guy. And if you look at my fucking iTunes right now, it's mad R. Kelly. Like, Drake is like number one with like every album. R. Kelly is number two, like with damn near every album, like Happy People, whatever that, Chocolate Factory, anything before that. Mm-hmm. So he was always my guy, and I looked at R. Kelly like probably 2 months ago. He had these glasses on, he had his beard and a hat, and I looked at him and I was like, I can't even look at this guy the same, and it fucked me up.
He looks like he's done what he's accused of.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the crazy thing is, the most fucked up part about it is, I felt wrong for judging, like for looking at him like that. Like, I was looking at his picture, and I was like, I screenshot this shit so I could find it if you gave me a moment. But
I don't want to.
I was like, damn, this guy looks like a creep, and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't think that. And I'm like, wait, no, why? I was like, why do I feel guilty about thinking that this motherfucker?
So this is when it got real for me, because I'll own the fact that I think the last thing that I downloaded from him was in 2011, and that was the album when it was like, girl, I'm gonna get you pregnant. And
that shit was ill.
Sidebar. Everything after Chocolate Factory is like egregious as fuck. Like, this is when he's got the songs where it's like, I'm gonna slap that pussy with my face and you gonna like it, girl.
Word. Like, toss that cookie, some crazy shit, and I'm like, maybe that's also what changed. Like, his music,
it got really aggressive.
Yeah, sure.
And it's flagrant to me because it's like, again, allegedly, but I don't care. That nigga did this shit.
He's on video, like.
So all of it, I'm saying, with the girls in the house and all that right now, what's happening? This is what I'm trying to get to. So all of this music is coinciding with what he's supposedly doing, which is holding women and girls hostage in his home/studio. Did you read that?
The BuzzFeed?
I don't know if it was BuzzFeed. It was an article.
Like,
no, because there's
a monster article.
Oh,
it was
God,
like
no.
12 pages.
I know what you're talking about.
Shit.
That's the original one that really set shit off. I can't think of his name, and I don't want to butcher it. It's like Derogatis or something like that.
That'd be crazy. But I know it was the original BuzzFeed
On
article. Twitter,
I want to say Jamila Lemieux, Carinthia, and I'll give him the names and he can put them in the tag. The Real Eyed or something like that. These are women who grew up in Chicago. And around the time that original long BuzzFeed report came out, they were like really upset because they're like, I don't understand how he's able to still have country right now. Because I remember in 19 whatever being outside of X school and seeing him pull up, and he would take girls from school and he would take them to this McDonald's, and they all have the same story. Wow. And it's not like this girl that I kind of know. Like, it'll be like my friend or my friend's sister, girls that are close to them, that they witnessed him come and pluck them from their schools. So it's like there are people who are around who witness this shit. So to your point, like, to see everybody fawn over this person who's clearly done harm to you, it has to be really hurtful. And it has to drive you crazy because he's not yet been held accountable for what the fuck he's done in the past, let alone what's happening now. Now, to the point of that, there was an article, there's a woman, I'm sorry. And she was dating him. She quit her job. He moved her out to Chicago into like an apartment. they were seeing each other. She would go on tour. There are pictures of her from on tour. He would put her in a cage and like simulate sex. Like, he's really fucking gross, yo. And so something happened. He moved her out of the apartment into the house studio. And while living in the house studio, they're not allowed to contact they're not allowed to speak to each other.
That much I knew.
The girls in there are not allowed to speak to each other. They're not allowed to speak to any men who work with him, who are in out the studio.
When people walk in.
Like, there were cameras. Like, they couldn't use the bathroom without permission. They would have to, like, request food, or if he wanted them to have it, they would get food. Like, he would force them to have sex with each other. Like, a lot of really sick and twisted shit that goes far beyond the jokes about piss on you to the fact that you're holding women captive in your home.
Yeah.
Look at that nigga's face the next time you see it. I swear to God, I'm disgusted. And at the end of one of those articles, they reached out to like dozens of other artists for comment, and nobody said anything.
And I think about Hope with the Best of Both Worlds album, and then after the shit with the Best of Both Worlds 2, and they had to be somebody
Best of Both Worlds was such a good fucking album.
That was classic. It's in my top 5, but that's another story.
And that nigga pulled the fuck out. That tour was going on.
I started to think, like, I think Hope knew more.
I'm sure most of these people know more. Look at what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. All the people around him who saw something funny or knew, like, the habits of inviting the young actress in with a woman and then the woman leaving her alone with him. Like, everybody saw something. And we all saw Aaliyah. Like, we all have seen.
Listen, let me while we're on this talk with Aaliyah, I can't take that. I was so young, I didn't realize, like, he wrote Age Ain't Nothing But a Number for her.
A lot of the things that are going on.
It was like 25. I was like,
we have to look at it in retrospect because we grew up with it. And we're not looking at it critically.
Of course.
It doesn't make sense that we would be, however years old, like, well, this is wrong.
Hold on a minute. Like,
look at the cover for that, the single, and he's in the background lurking.
Creepy. Like, he calls himself the Pied Piper.
I urge you, the next time you see R. Kelly's face, just take a good look at it.
I'm gonna make it the cover photo for this.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God. Because then I can't listen to it.
Can I say this, though, about that R. Kelly shit? And it was another, I have a point to make about Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K., but with R. Kelly, I'm not defending it, but this is your eyebrows went up.
Nervous about that.
Your eyebrows went up. I'm just saying, but this is the least creepy shit he's done. I know it's fucking wrong.
What is the least creepy thing that he's done?
None of these girls are underage. That shit about the picking them up at high school, that's more creepy to me. And these girls, like, they're on World Star and shit giving out statements. So I'm not saying I don't feel bad for them, but I know that they're under that, like, pimp, old school, mind control Chicago shit. I'm not saying it's okay.
It's not okay, so I'm glad that you're not saying
I just want to clarify that. But I'm like, this is like, this ain't nothing to compare to what he's...
Well, I wouldn't say that it's nothing.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say it's nothing either. You're right. Fair.
I don't feel the need to compare what he's done, because he's the same dude. Okay. He's done all of this shit.
And that's why I need to have the conversation, because you make a valid, that's 100% valid.
To think of the progression...
That's me making an excuse for him, actually. You're absolutely right. You're right.
Dealing with Aaliyah, marrying Aaliyah, the fact that even happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, which is crazy in itself.
To the piss video.
Trip.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle made that hilarious.
Oh, Dave. Dave can get this too, and I love him. Dave can get some of this too.
Dave made that hilarious, and that's what's fucked it up. Like,
to go from that to the girl, is he still with her? The little, like, the pale girl. She's like 19. Like, so. He's very careful about what he's doing creepy. Now. It is creepy. It's not illegal, but when you when you have that track record,
true.
I don't give a fuck what the law says.
You should probably be like, they're like 25 and up for you, bro.
Because it's clear why you're sniffing there.
Yeah, you're right. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to do it.
That was a very poor choice of words. You're right. But yeah, so to go from all of that and to now you have women held captive. I don't care what the statements say. Like, None of that's okay.
True.
And I will take a deep breath and say, if these women consent to some kinky slave shit, more power to him. However, his track record, I'm not buying that. They don't want to be there.
You think so?
I don't believe it.
Really? That's why
I'd rather be surprised, but no, I don't believe that shit. His track record doesn't give me enough space to give him the benefit of the doubt.
So, like, that's why I say it's the least creepy shit he's done, because I feel like they
could choose.
And is that me being ignorant? Is that me being like, you're fucking submitting statements to World Star? Like,
you need to read the full article and I'll link it to you.
I forget her name. It's like something Savage. Like her name?
There's somebody else.
I know. I do know what you're talking about.
She was like a radio host.
Yeah. I do know. I didn't watch it. You're right. I do know what you're talking about.
It was an article.
I gotta find that.
But from the order of events that she gave, like he picked her. He chose her. He wined and dined her. He made her feel very special.
And he says in a lot of songs, "Your girl chose me." He said, I've heard him say it in a lot of music.
Then there was verbal abuse. Then there was physical abuse. Then you can't leave. Then you can't contact people. Then there are these rules. So, like, even just that little sliver of what if devil's advocate, they're choosing to be a part of this slave dynamic? I'm not buying that shit. There's just entirely too much on the table for that to even be like an option. It's not reasonable. It doesn't make any sense.
That shit is crazy. Also with
you're not gonna beat somebody and they're gonna be like, you know what? Of course I'll live in the studio and only eat pizza, like,
and not have access to the outside
and can't use the bathroom if I want to. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, very true. And that's why I don't want to defend his bullshit, because what he's doing is like, I couldn't even imagine.
It's reprehensible. Look at his face, like, oh my god.
So
fuck that nigga. And I want more people to say that.
Why don't they? Like, why?
I feel like you know the answer to that question.
I don't. I really don't.
I mean, because rocking the boat. Complicity. How many people have been around? How many people have seen some of the shit that he's done and never said anything before?
Like, why do they wait till if the FBI, what time is it? It's almost midnight. If the FBI came in and swooped his ass up right now, I feel like tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., everybody would have a fucking statement who's been around. Like, it's been going back to 1995, I saw this, and some motherfucker would have a story from 2 months ago. But I feel like now that he's still out doing what he's doing, and he's still on tour, not a peep. I'm telling you, tomorrow morning, if they scooped his ass up,
I think it's 30 statements out. I think there's complicity. I think there are people who are probably doing funky shit too, and their shit's just not out.
Apparently, the way the fucking every time I refresh my Twitter,
I told you they're shaking the table. Like, I have very little faith in humanity in general.
Me too.
So I'm just like,
unfortunately. And the crazy, I'm not going to get into politics. I swear to God,
no, we're not doing it.
But like, I just say, like, he's still. Look at the president, and that's the easy part to say. I feel like the crazy shit is, as sick as it is, I feel like more people, I'm like, look, if you're not going to comment on the president, at least say something about R. Kelly. Like, it sounds fucking stupid to correlate those two, but a creep is a creep.
It does sound actually incredible.
No, that sounds mad ignorant, but I'm like, shit, if they ain't going to say nothing about R. Kelly, they damn sure not going to go against him. So I really don't have the answer as to why that happened.
In his pocket, whether it's artists, producers, but also his fans, his demographic, they don't care. And I don't even know if they don't care. They're just not willing to look at what's in front of them. They want a two-step to happy people. And like, I mean, go ahead. Do that. But this nigga has women trapped in his home.
True.
And he beats them and pisses on them too. And forces them to have sex with each other. Like, why is that okay? I'm not one to tell people not to listen to their music or watch their music. Is that the way you go about it, though?
No. True. Yeah. Okay. Fair. I can't even. I'm not going to argue. That's totally valid.
I don't think there's anything to argue. But then also, it's totally like, who's really... And this is not a victim blaming thing. I'm just really curious who's looking at R. Kelly and thinking that they're going to have a healthy relationship.
You never know.
I know the glitz and the glamour is alluring. I get it. But I mean, nobody sees it. Nobody seems to see it.
Nobody cares. Why do you think black people don't get married?
I was about to say nobody cares about black women.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh.
Nah, I don't want to go down that road. Nah, not this table. Listen to it, creaks.
Niggas don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Wait, you don't? That's fucking heartbreaking.
We are like some of the least protected people in the
No,
fucking
I love
country.
my mom. My mom's a black woman. My grandma's a black.
So
my sister's
happy.
a black
Some
woman.
of my best friends are black. Like, what is your point? As a whole, we are some of the most unprotected people in this country, next to like children.
Cause see, I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's not true, but I don't want to admit it. Like,
well, okay, I can
up.
appreciate you even saying that.
You know, because I want to be like, no, but like.
But we can say that for next time. Why don't black people get married? Black people get married.
No, because now, see, we just opened up a can of worms. And you would comment, you said, flesh out these thoughts. And now we can't do that to the people. So now I feel like, damn, that made me want to put my weed out. Like, that shit just really, that was fucked up.
Aw.
Damn.
Well, imagine how I feel as a black
Forget
woman.
See, I just flagged down a taxi the other day in like 3 waves. I was like, let's see how long this shit takes. And I was like, and he was like, ah! And I was like, oh,
Progress.
Shit. I was like, yo, we're doing great. Like, I know that sounds so ignorant, but I swear I was so fucking excited about it too. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, before I could even get out to tweet, like, here we go. Motherfucker pulled over. So when you say that, it like, not humbles me. I don't know the word, but it's like sobering to be like, let's be realistic, nigga. Like, come on. Like, look at the world around you. Don't let fucking, this podcast should fool you, man.
Reel it in.
Shit's fucked up right now.
Yeah.
But why don't you feel, do you think black people don't get married? Why is that?
I think,
I'm married.
I mean, it's
I'm a black man.
You married to a white woman though. That shit don't
count.
count.
And you know, and now that's what the alley-oop that I give to people. But because in this crazy, if my wife was anything, I promise, she's just the one for me. I would have married her. And I almost married my last one, but that would have been a mistake. But that's
the one that
story.
called me.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, fuck that.
And no reason. I'm like, nigga, I haven't spoken to this person in 2 years. But I'm like, see, this is why you don't go through people's phones. Because I like, who is this? I'm like, I don't even know how to explain this. I don't even know what to say to her. But anyway.
Oh, that's funny. I think that's a really broad generalization. I know plenty of married black folk, as do.
But like I mean, maybe I'm explaining it fucked up. But I know, like, when you say no one cares about black women, I feel like I just thought about like 10 relationships just popped through my head, right? And I, like when you said that at that split moment, I started to think like, no, but this, and I'm like, oh no, shit. And then I was like, oh wait, but, and I'm like, no, shit, actually, no, you don't really, and I wanted so that's why a lot happened when you said that. That's why I said sobering. So it was like, damn, I should put this
your
weed
face
out.
was shook. I appreciate that.
Nah, for real, because that's fucked
good.
up.
That was delicious. I wish we had the video rolling for that.
No, good thing it wasn't, because they're like, I haven't even lit the weed. I'm gonna put this down now because that was fucked up. But anyway, but do you feel like, because I know I would marry. I want to get married. I just, for some strange reason, not strange reason. I don't mean strange reason, because I know you believe in what you believe in, but like. But I'm one of those old school people who, like, I just believe in that love. I believe in that. But I feel like not a lot of my peers do.
Okay, so is that really a racial thing? Or is that a gender thing? Or is it an age thing? Is it a socioeconomic thing? Is it based on how they were raised?
Okay.
I don't think that's a racial thing.
No? Okay.
No, because I mean, I know... I know that's anecdotal for me to say I know married black people, but I don't think that our rates are significantly lower than any other demographic. Not to the point that it should be alarming, especially in 2017. I think the decision to marry is a very personal decision, if you so choose that. I am not sold on it personally.
Really? You're not sold on marriage?
Yeah, think of that. Imagine. Why?
I remember, like, can we get into that? I remember your.
I don't know because I have no idea what you're about.
No,
to
I'm
say.
just like I remember your take on it. Like I remember you like the shit don't work, my G.
Oh,
and,
well.
I'm like, nah, it does. I was like, this is far from being married at that point, but I was like, nah, you can do it. Like,
no, I'm hella jaded. I won't even pretend that. Like,
why do you think like your childhood or
absolutely,
like you said? Before? Okay,
absolutely. And then just the older that I've gotten, and unfortunately being privy to some other people's marriages and just seeing stuff, I'm jaded. I'm jaded. I mean, I love my partner to death. Like that's my nigga. I fucks with
partner?
him. Yeah, we have a domestic partnership. Excuse me.
I think we had this.
We had this conversation because you're immature and you think that.
No, that's
like,
not immature, my G.
But
I don't want to slander. I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna slander.
Yeah,
it makes you think
never...
of like I have a lesbian partner, but I say partner by choice.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to sound like I was disrespecting him, but I just mean that
because that's
label,
not gonna happen.
Like that. That like partner, like because I know if my girl was like partner. My partner, I'm like nigga, what?
Well, first of all, you actually went the next step further to actually become a husband.
Okay, sure.
So I think I will be offended as well. But.
If we first after, if we were like, I guess someone say engaged, but we were even dating, and she's like, yeah, my partner. I'm like, partner, like I was but I don't like that.
It's
title.
very. I mean, I know of other couples who actually use it, and when I see it, I'm just like, hey, y'all too, y'all get it. But that's just been a thing for us. Like we've never been girlfriend and boyfriend. Like it was just never a thing that came. Like I think maybe twice I've heard him say it. He'll like my girlfriend. I'll be like,
where you like? What? Oh, so like the flip side of it, where you're like girlfriend.
Yeah, it never felt right. Like when we were serious, but it was never that. I don't know. We just didn't use those words. So when we chose to move forward with a domestic partnership, we did that as like a practical thing. And it was like no bearing on our relationship status. Like, I love that man and he loves me. And everyone who's around us thinks that like we're just whatever, this little cute thing. I'm not gonna get all cheesy and shit. But like we both share some apprehensions about the idea of marriage. And I appreciate that. So I'm not being pressured into it because that would be hella stressful.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't knock people for doing it.
Do you think the two same-sex couple could raise a child? I feel like that's mad crazy that I just thought about it though. I feel like
I absolutely think that. Like, what kind of question is that?
Well, look, can we talk about that?
I mean, you can talk.
Off the record for this, because
no,
crazy.
You can talk, but they're two loving parents. Assuming why not?
That's where I was just going with it. Yeah, that's great. Sure, two loving parents.
That's really important.
Yeah, fine, sure. But I feel like my mom, who was an amazing mother, don't get me wrong, like 100% amazing mother. She did the best she could. She does the best she can still to this day. I love you. Hello, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
But she could never teach me how to be a man. I know that.
Okay, see. This is another loaded question because that's assuming, for one, that you're speaking or dealing with somebody who believes in such firm gender roles.
Oh, God.
You walked into that.
Oh.
You walked into that. See,
I wasn't going to crack this wine. I got to think I got to crack this.
We could have left it at the fact that as long as there are two loving parents, that child will be perfectly fine.
I don't want to do this.
You don't have to do it with me.
Where's the goddamn microphone?
You ain't got to do it with me.
Okay. I actually didn't want to, this wasn't planned for me to go down this road, but since we're here.
Do you regret it already?
I don't regret it, but I just feel like, how much time do we have? That's how I feel.
Okay. You can put a pin in that one.
I don't want to. Wait, so let me just finish what I was, let me sum up the point, and then I guess we could go there. I feel like my mom, who was an amazing mom, who I said, if there were two of her, and two of my mom would be like, that'd be crazy. I wouldn't want two of me. But two of my mom, if she had a partner, and it was the perfect mom, right? Mm-hmm. Well, my mom's she's perfect for me, but you know what I mean. You're following me. Okay. So, nobody's perfect. But, perfect for what it was. I feel like they still couldn't. It wouldn't be right. You need that balance. So what you're saying. So now I guess that leads to. So I guess we can't get around it with the. Because I know two of me.
But I'll humor you.
Go ahead, please.
To suggest that a child raised by two women would lack the knowledge or awareness of what it is to be a man, if it's a boy child, is to suggest that the only male representation would be in the house. What are brothers? What are uncles? What are neighbors? What are friends? But if you feel that strongly, there are men that you could have around your child. That's positive examples for your child.
That's true, and that's fair.
I will humor that.
No, that's true. You. But no, not even to just humor it, but that's true and that's fair. So I can, like, it just made me realize, like, oh yeah, okay. There is that.
It takes a village.
But I know with, like, if you could clone me and I was to make myself my partner, which I don't know if I can handle because I'm a lot, but if that would make my, like, I feel like those two people shouldn't raise a child. Like, that would be like, no, that'd be crazy.
But the thing about this example that you're giving both times is two of the same person. Individuals, in theory, should complement one another within a relationship.
Fair.
And again, if there are things that you can't provide for your child, there's no reason why you can't seek it outside and bring it in. You can expand your network to help you raise a well-rounded kid. That's
fair and that's true. And that actually answers my question. So it is possible because you can't fall into those gender roles. And just when I wanted to argue about your gender roles comment, which I feel like I kind of backed off a little bit, although, like, I could argue it, but, like, for the sake of the conversation.
You can put a pin in that one.
I do want to put a pin in it. That's why I said, like, it would almost went down another road. I'm glad you didn't throw anything at me. That was amazing. Damn, I forget what I was just going to say about gender roles. Do you have gender roles in your house? I got gender roles, but they're like...
I mean, we do, but they're not, like, strict.
I feel like we're coming off mine. Like, I did laundry the other day. It was terrible.
But just got to do better. Practice. Like, you can learn how to do these things.
I quit on my wife. Like, you know what? These socks just won't get folded, my G. I was like, this is getting out of control. I was like, we have to come up with a better system. Because it was just funny to me because I'm like, no, because you know why? Because it was a crazy dilemma because we have gender roles, but I felt like I should help her. Like, that's why I was fucked up. Like, it was mad laundry and I'm like, damn, I'm a piece of shit. I've been home all day.
But this is part of where my issue comes. Because for one, express yourself how you want to.
Right, sure.
So that's how I feel about that. But then when it comes to, like, running a household, if your gender roles are so strict that one person is shouldering the most of a burden, that's just unfair. It's imbalanced 100%. And it's going to be unhealthy in your relationship. Because if I'm the only person cleaning up these dirty ass drawers and I'm tired and you sitting there doing nothing, but that's a woman's job, man, fuck you.
Sure.
First and foremost,
totally fair.
They're your drawers.
Totally fair.
You're a grown human.
Totally
fair. You contribute to this household. So that's really where most of our roles, like, are not too firm. Because we are both adults living in this house.
Totally fair. And that's why I said I felt like a piece of shit, because I'm like...
Good. You should.
I was like, all right, baby, listen, this is what we're going to do. I'll carry this shit back up. You just leave it by the washing machine. I'll take care of it. Don't you... Look, you see those towels? Like, that's real shit. I was like, I got you. Don't worry. Like, so I did feel that, like... Okay, like that's
I'm
ignorant
glad that
of me.
You're growing as
I'm a different person. I swear. Me and Gucci had the same transformation. It's crazy, but we talked. You know what? One thing I wanted to ask you, because I know you have a son and you don't believe in gender roles, and I'm an asshole, and I have a son, and I'm afraid for my son sometimes. Like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't tell him exactly how I feel. Like, he's still young. Mm. I forget what I said. Some shit, and he repeated it back to me, and I was like, no. I was like, don't ever say that again. Like, I was like, oh shit. I was like, wow, and that's what scared me. I'm like, damn, maybe I shouldn't. Like, I gotta watch what I say. Like, fuck, this is crazy. I saw, because I know. That's why I feel like that's what sickens me, because I know my dad didn't watch what he said, and that's why I am the way I am.
I can't breathe.
So I was saying, like, I saw Amber Rose, and I have my take on her slut walk thing, but that's another conversation. Mm-hmm. She had her son painting his nails, right? And like, I looked at the shit like...
Of course you did.
Come on, my G.
But What is inherently wrong with it?
Nothing.
Okay. There's no but.
No, there is.
No, there's really
so maybe
no
I'll
but.
say something. I won't say nothing then. I feel maybe you change.
I'm
No,
listening.
listen. You changed my mind about two things. Like when people are listening to this, two things you said, I was like, oh shit. Like with the gender roles, I'm like, okay, true. And the marriage thing, I'm like, wow, damn, that's true. Like,
And also that nobody cares about.
and that nobody can.
Yeah.
3 things now. I'm like, oh yeah, true. So maybe you could change my mind. Like I'm really open to the conversation. I'm
listening.
exploring the gray
I'm
area.
afraid, but
I should
listening.
rename this shit the Gray Area Podcast because that's what I feel like I'm in. I feel like I don't know what the fuck is what anymore. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm not gonna say there's anything wrong with it, but just like I feel like I don't want to use her, but a person would tell their son, or she tells their son. I guess I'll just use her. It's okay to paint your nails. You don't have to fall into those gender roles. Just like you say that, I feel like just like when you're like, you don't have to fall into it, you're kind of making them choose. If that makes sense. Am I explaining that weird? So when I say to my
understand
son,
what you're trying to say.
because you're smart, but I mean for other niggas.
I can't.
So I feel like just when I'm like, if my son was like, I want to be a princess for fucking Halloween. After my heart attack, when they were like, beep, clear. Like after they did that,
But this is what I want from you.
Okay.
Why is that such a bad thing?
I don't know. That's why I don't
So that's
know.
something that you really need to sit with, because the honest to God truth, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of unlearning that you would have to do in order to feel that way.
I'm not
But
going to say it's
literally
gay.
this
I'm not going to be like, well, that's just
Because
gay.
it's
I don't
not.
mean it like that.
That's dumb.
But I mean like, yo, you have a dick. Things
So?
are just supposed to be a certain way.
Why?
Is that ignorant?
Yes.
Okay. I'll think on it. I'm not totally sold. I'm not going to say, okay, I'll change my mind. But
It's
like,
not-
I'll sit on that one for it. And I
to
guess
go
we can put a
back-
pin in that also.
What you said was, if a person says to their son, you don't have to subscribe to these gender roles. I don't know who's really sitting down and saying that. I think you're making it so that your child feels comfortable expressing themselves however they express themselves.
Sure.
Which is two different things. Because I get what you're trying to say. If I say you don't have to do what you're supposed to do, you can do this one. Why don't you?
Right, exactly.
Versus whatever feels good to you, you do it. At that point, you're encouraging them to feel what they feel and show what they want to show. And if that child happens to want to wear a dress, like, that's not hurting anybody.
Which is
and
true.
if somebody came to me and said something about my child wearing a dress, like, I'm going to slap fire out of them.
That's why the crazy shit is. That's why I didn't want to use Amber Rose, because I'm like, yo, that's your business. That's not my son. You do what you want. Like if I saw your son in a dress, I wouldn't be like, the fuck is she doing? Like I would just be like, well, okay, that's different. But and I just move on.
Because I don't enforce strict gender roles with Mason, just my son. I allow him to choose what he's interested in. And I don't allow anyone else to impose them. Like I'm
So if he wanted to paint his
serious about
nails,
that.
you'd be like,
I've taken him to get a manicure, and he came back with one little glitter finger. It's not
as
hurting
ridiculous
anybody.
as it sounds, like I'm not mad at the. If my son came back with the glitter finger, I'd be like, "The fuck is this?" I wouldn't have a heart attack.
It was
but I'd
his
be like,
magic finger. That's what he called
okay.
it.
So
Like,
I respect the glitter finger. You go with
there
your
are
mom.
ways to do this without trying to impose your will. Like, sure, I would like my son to grow up to also be free and open and not so harsh and judgmental. But I'm not gonna just be like, "Hey, Mason, you know what we should do? Let's go and get our eyebrows." I'm not gonna force shit on him, but I'm also not going to discourage him because there's no good reason for
I know
it.
a couple of dudes who get their eyebrows touched up. But
Well, that probably was a bad example. But like,
okay.
there's like, I remember when he was like 2, we went to an event and a relative was like, why is he playing with a doll? He's a boy. I'm like, it's a toy. Like, the only reason why it's bad to you is because you're making it a thing. It's a toy. Who cares?
My dad, I had a G.I. Joe once. He was, the fuck is this shit?
It was a doll to him.
It was
too?
a doll. He
It's
was like, this shit,
dumb.
like, psh, shit is gay, nigga.
Well,
And I
now
was
he's
like, you right.
traumatized you.
I was like,
Whereas
you know what,
you
you
could
right,
have
my
just
G.
played with your toy.
Nah, my dad was like, yo, play with a gun or something. Don't fucking be out here playing with G.I. Joes. Real shit. Like, I can't wait to get him on the podcast, but my dad was like...
Oh my God, that just
like,
made me sweat.
Nah,
Like,
but
that's
you know what's crazy?
That's
Like,
so problematic.
Nah.
And this is, yes, it is.
I'm
And
not
this
mad at
goes-
him for it. I'm really not.
I am, because this goes to what we were talking about y'all not being able to talk about your feelings and shit. There's no reason why you shouldn't have been able to play with a toy. Doesn't matter if it's a doll or an action figure. The fact that he broke your toy, and then even if you're being like dramatic and saying, here, play with this gun, he's teaching you dolls represent nurturing. This is bad, This violence is good. That's a fucking problem. In and of
There's
itself,
something
away from
to
the
that.
gender roles thing, that's a fucking problem.
But as sick as it is, I'm glad he raised me. And maybe we can get to the bottom of this also, but I'm glad he raised this hardened individual and allowed me to peel off myself, then make me like love everyone, and then like let the world show me hard lessons.
You really do some serious extremes, and it's fascinating.
You do.
You know, because it doesn't have to be that way.
I'm extreme.
I know.
My brain doesn't. That's why I say the gray area. My brain doesn't have gray area. My brain.
I know.
And I don't mean it like some people. Like, you know, I'm not self-diagnosing, but I legit don't think that way. So
I see. It's fascinating to me because I do.
That's why it's crazy to hear you say it, because I'm like, yeah, I can admit it, and that's why I ask so many fucking people. Like, well, that was a weird question.
Fit either here or here, but most things in our lives are here, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine.
That it makes sense. It's that
but you still want that.
It's like algebra, like how people fucking don't get it. Like I'm like, yeah, I get it, but
so much.
That's how algebra makes me blink. Like. So now you're a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Is there a name for this? Because a guy just told me, big shout out to Michael Trey. He said there's a difference between a teacher and an educator, and I was like, oh, excuse the fuck out of me. So are you an educator? Like,
I'm not an educator, and I'll tell you why. Because of the dynamic in my company, I don't have the freedom to deviate from the curriculum. And I feel like an educator is the one who teaches you about life, who really leaves that mark on you, that you remember that person 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
My kids are going to remember me because
I told them I would Google it and I didn't. So that's why I'm like, oh, wow, crazy.
Well, that's just my opinion. But my students are going to remember me because I'm the one who's teaching them how to speak a whole nother language. So for the rest of their lives, now that they can speak English, it was me who did that, which is cool and all, but...
That's not ill. That's actually crazy.
No, it is. But as far as like my vision of being an educator working in a brick and mortar school is going to be able to be teaching, you know, Romeo and Juliet. But then I can also step aside and just break some real shit down for you so you leave my class and learn something. Like,
that's great.
Worthy.
That's crazy that you say that, because that lets me know that you're actually a good teacher. Because I know, no, fuck that. Fuck the I know your secrets, nigga. So I'm like, she's telling them. I'm like, if they only fucking know, that's crazy. So no, in all seriousness, and why I say that and why I ask is because do you feel like you do have that duty to teach them outside the box with certain things? Like,
in theory, I don't teach in a traditional classroom setting. I teach virtually 1-to-1, which is one student, one teacher, one classroom. And I have a very strict curriculum.
2017 is crazy. That's amazing. But
they're on the other side of the world.
Right, that's
it's
crazy.
Really awesome. I love it for many reasons. But when I've always wanted to be a teacher from like 3rd grade, my vision of me being a teacher was being that teacher. Everyone had that teacher, that one that they loved, they couldn't wait to see. Even if they weren't their actual teacher, you made a point to go visit that teacher because that teacher would drop some shit and she would make you, or they would make you feel worthy. They made you feel valuable, like you mattered, like they took an interest in you outside of your grade. I don't have that freedom in my company because it's a very specific thing that we're teaching. And I'm okay with that. I won't be able to be that teacher until or unless I actually get into a classroom. And I don't know if I'm going to. But if I do, my goal is to be that teacher. Are you interested in it? I am, but I also think that's a conversation that's going to take too long. Because 2017 is a crazy thing, and there are a lot of teachers fleeing their brick and mortar schools to come work for my company.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the education system in our country is fucked. And right now, it's not looking promising to improve. Sure. We're not doing politics. But, you know, there's a lot of bureaucracy when you actually teach in like a public school or even a public charter. There's going to be more paperwork, more dealing with parents, more behavioral interventions than it is actual teaching. And that's draining a lot of teachers. And they're not being compensated well enough to do all that shit. So,
makes sense.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Now, you went to Manhasset, obviously, high school. And you went to in HBCU.
Briefly, but yeah.
I guess it counts in my book.
I mean, it counts in mine too because I needed that.
How do you feel like that was culture shock? And do you feel like well, I guess I'm trying to figure out a way to ask. Like, obviously the transition was going to be crazy for you, but do you feel like the professors there were ready for people? I know, like me, it would have been crazy. Like, it would have been.
Oh,
like,
so no,
fuck?
you have okay. For me, it was totally a culture shock because just to give an idea of the way that the demographic of Manhasset High School was, like, I think there were between the junior high and the high school, I think there were 3 black teachers that were actual teachers.
I only remember one. I remember Miss Wellington.
I love Miss Wellington.
I actually want to email her. I want to find her.
Don't get me started on Miss Wellington. I talk about her all the time.
And Miss
Ferguson.
Shout out to Miss Henry.
Oh, Miss Henry. So that's 3.
Miss Ferguson was on the fence. She might have been Ben Carson. I don't know, my G. Like, all
right, so it's 2.5. We'll say
2.5.
All right. Teachers that were actual teachers, not support staff, not assistants, not special education. Not to say that they aren't true teachers, but there were only 3 teachers in classrooms. Now, when it came to the student demographic, I'll say that maybe in the whole school, I think 15 is generous.
That's more than I came up with, I'm telling you.
But
That's
I'm
crazy.
saying both junior high and high school.
True.
So I think 15.
Sure. We used to kill it at the lunch table. You're right. True.
So we're saying 3 black teachers, 15 black students. And then the one above that would be, I think, like the Latino students. And then the Asian students. And then the white students would be the majority. The 90%. Culture of that school was very unique. It was very, very privileged. I was just talking about this recently on Twitter. The education that I got in that school is invaluable. I was incredibly prepared academically to go to Howard. I graduated in 11th grade. I doubled up and finished. I was academically very, very well prepared for college work. Like, too prepared. It was easy. Actually, it was easy. I didn't know that freshman year was going to be like the 13th grade. Like, I didn't realize that. For certain subjects, I was learning stuff that we did in like 9th and 10th grade. So I'm sitting here like, is this really how this goes? Like, I thought we were going to be challenged here. I saw a different world. Where are the finals? Like, I had a really clear idea of how this was supposed to be. Now, for me, having black administrators, having black librarians, having black professors, doctors, like, that shit was incredible to me because I did not see that growing up. When they would tell us, you could be anything you want to be, like, I think those white kids heard that and they were like, I know. And then I would hear it, I'd be like, I mean, but like, oh, we don't have any money. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to school. Like,
damn, that's crazy.
I didn't believe that stuff. Like, I felt like when they put those things on the walls, like, reach for the stars, reach for the moon, even if you fall, you'll land among the stars, like, whatever. That shit was on the walls for them. They had those paths laid out. Even if they were crappy students, they had some clear paths laid out professionally, academically. They had the support financially, like, familially. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but it sounded good.
I'm rolling.
Like, they had that support. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the emotional support. I didn't have the familial support either. I left and I was by myself in a foreign state. I've never lived on my own before. I left at 17 for personal reasons. Academically, I was prepared.
Sure.
Socially and emotionally, I was not.
A chance.
This was also when my diagnosis came, my freshman year at Howard. So all of that happened at the same time. I felt like I was a part of a community for the first time. I've been in the Manhasset school community from 2nd grade to 11th grade. And I've always felt like an outsider.
Really?
We're just talking. I had never attended a single party.
We just said that.
Yes,
or
social function outside of the school. Like, I wasn't.
And that shit surprised me.
I wasn't in it. But also, how I was raised. Where were they going to let me go?
Sure.
That too.
And that also was crazy when you said, you saw, like, Reach for the Stars, and you were like, oh, that's... I actually saw that. I was poor as I don't know what. But I remember looking at that shit like, you know what? You're right.
This shows even in the conversation that we had at the beginning.
That is crazy. And when Like, I felt like I fit in. Like, I felt like, I don't know how I don't even know how I fit in.
Our personalities are also very, very different.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
But as far as what I saw when I got there, I think, like, they were rough around the edges dudes. Like, it wasn't all, like, us Carlton Banks.
Hey.
Carlton Banks is, like, showing up from, like, the super posh towns. Like, there were kids out there from, like, rough areas, inner city.
I don't appreciate you hating on my low, though, on how you did it. I had to put that shit on the gram. We're going to get back to that. Yo, when you see niggas talking about polo, they talking about me, my G. Like, accept that. Now move on. As you were saying, there's no niggas like me and nice
there
polo
were plenty of... There were plenty, and, like, I think that's what I appreciated most was the varied expressions of blackness, because I did not see that here. There were only but so many of us who lived in this town.
Sure.
And that's another conversation for another time, but for the most part, we were very similar in a lot of ways just because we shared a very small portion of this community out here. So to leave this and see, like, all these different types of black people, I was like, oh my God, this shit is so black, son. Like, it was amazing to me. And so now my son's school is black as fuck, and it makes me so happy. It gives me goosebumps.
That's crazy.
And it's an excellent school, and I have to say that because if anybody's not familiar, when the schools are browner, they tend to be poorer, therefore they perform poorer.
That's actually why I said that's crazy, because I think about, like...
It's an excellent school, and it's black as hell.
That's cool. Do you feel like you would have got that experience in New York?
Him?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely not. No. To go back to the beginning of the conversation, I am poor. I can't afford to live in the zip codes that have the really good schools. And there's no way that I, in good consciousness and as an educator, be comfortable sending my son to a shitty-ass school. That speaks to a larger issue of the fact that we have these shitty-ass schools in certain zip codes, but that's for a different soapbox. But yeah, he absolutely would not get this experience. He only knows what it is to have black teachers, and that blows my mind. I didn't have my first black teacher until 8th grade.
I remember it was noticeable. Like, I remember Miss Wellington. Was it Miss Wellington?
Miss Henry, and then Miss Wellington.
Yeah, but that's what fucks me up now is like that. I'm like, wow, I noticed that then. Like, I walked in like, oh shit. A black lady, like, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. My brain, like that same shit. My brain actually doesn't go there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I don't see race. That's wouldn't fucking be true. And I hate when people do that. Mm-hmm. But I remember that young being like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like, I remember being
that's because they didn't belong. They weren't supposed to be there.
You know what? Maybe we just felt the energy. Maybe we walked in and she was like, oh shit. She was like, oh shit.
Nah, neither of them played any shit. They both have the shortcuts and the thick glasses.
The classic, like,
Nickelodeon.
Don't
take no shit teachers.
You feel like they were harder on you? I felt like I felt like they wanted to shake me, like, nigga, get it together, because I was a terrible student.
And I was an excellent student, so I think that they were probably harder on you because you were a terrible student. They wanted you to do better.
And they used to tell me, like, yo, come on.
They were, those two in particular, and Miss Ferguson were very hard on me as well. And I think because I was doing well and they wanted me to continue to do well. But all of my teachers were always hard on me. But they were hard on me because I was a good one, which is something that I've had to unpack as an adult. Because I used to feel good, like, oh, she's a good one. But now I see what they mean by that.
Yo,
when you got the rest of these niggas running around crazy, fighting in the living room, in the lunchroom.
That was mad. You generalizing. You sound like me now. Now, look at this.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
A large majority
Didn't you say this table was shaking? God damn it, what's going on?
A large majority of us were acting a plumb fool and or not academically performing well. There were a few of us who were doing very well.
True.
I have two in particular that are on my mind. And then there was me as well.
You and Raina. Yo, big shout out to Raina Bell.
My girl.
I ain't spoken to you in 12 years, but I hope you hear
She's
this.
Doing good on the West Coast.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, I was pushed. I was pushed to do a lot of things, a lot of the scholarships that I got, a lot of the opportunities that I had. I know it was because I was an ideal model black student. Like, I went to a lot of conferences, a lot of overnight away things. I got some award from Malloy College and Colin Powell. Don't ask me what the hell it was, but I got it. And it was always just me. It was always me and a bunch of random ass white kids and like one Asian kid. And I know that I was sent because I was a model black student. And at the time, for one, I'm like, I don't have to go to school, yay. 2, I'm poor. I need all this shit to look good on my resume to get into a good school. So I used it to my advantage. By the time I graduated is when I started to get a little militant.
Sure.
I don't know if you remember the culture shock. But yeah, towards that point, I'm like, I see what it is. And that was, after I got accepted into Howard, I'm like, I'm out of here. I know where I'm headed, and it's about to be black as fuck. And so it became a lot clearer to me.
What made you not want to go and teach black kids?
What? Who
The pen
said
jumped
that?
out my hand.
Who said that? I would love to teach black children. It's just so happens that I finished my master's degree and I wasn't really sure if I was prepared to go directly into the classroom. And that speaks to the depression and the anxiety. I didn't feel that I was prepared or capable of doing it. So I figured, let me find something in the meantime. I finished my undergrad and my graduate degree while being a stay-at-home mom. I did have a company for a brief period of time, but it wasn't relevant to education. So there's a huge gap in my employment history. So I just figured, let me find something that can fill in. And I just happen to love working with these kids. And so that's just what I'm going to do for now. Because I have a connection with some of these kids. Like, sure. I've been with them. And I've taught them from, like, barely saying cat to reading sentences. And that's incredible. No, so I kind of want to see some of this through. That's awesome. Before I shift gears again.
I'm not even mad at you for not teaching black kids. But
anyway. Yo, first of all, so I teach somebody, like, never mind. You don't know some of these names, all right? I got a Leon. I got a Gertie. They might be black.
Do you not see all of them?
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, shit. I'm like,
they're all Chinese, bro. They're all Chinese students.
Really? I thought they were Spanish.
Across the globe.
Across the globe.
Do you not? Okay.
Look, listen, man.
I forgot. You ain't read good in high school. You just told me.
No, my geography is up, though. So, okay, you're right. I thought, for some reason, I had you with Spanish kids, like, in my head, in my brain. But let me ask you that also, since you a nigga with a master's degree.
Oh, God.
So, I know we're not going to get into it, but the chick who blocked me on Twitter, right? She's like a fucking doctor. And I'm not going to get into it, even though I haven't been blocked since, like, 2013. But I kind of want to go down that road, but I'm not going to do it.
Where are you going with this? Because I explicitly told you.
I know. That's why I said I'm being fair. We won't talk about asexual people. But, like...
You're not stuck.
No. Where I was really going with it is, do you feel like being a person with a master's degree, and I was going to make a fucking joke, but I'm going to move past
Please
it.
do.
Do you feel like people, and I actually had to say that, like, she told me I wasn't qualified to speak to her. And that's actually where I was going with it. Because she was like, nigga, do you have a PhD? And I was like, oh, don't do that to me. So being a person with a master's degree, do you feel like some people aren't qualified to speak to you? And it sounds like mad random because I didn't tell the asexual story. But, like, do you feel that?
I personally do not feel that.
Do you understand people who feel like that? Because I felt so fucking insulted. Like, hold on, fam.
I don't particularly consider myself an authority on many things. Like, I know what I know, and I'll speak confidently in it. I won't say that you're not qualified to speak to me. However, like, there are certain conversations that I'm absolutely...
crazy to hear you say,
I'm absolutely not going to have certain conversations with certain people, though. But that's just...
And you know what? I understand that.
But I'm not going to outright say that to somebody. I don't even think it's so much about qualifications. It's just like...
And you know me. I'm an asshole. If I had a PhD, I know niggas probably couldn't talk to me. But I don't. So I want to be fair to everybody. Like, I'm
not going to defend what she said to you.
No, because you know what? It was just. And if we're not going to go down the road...
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll flirt down the road. You don't have to say anything, but...
I'm not saying anything.
You don't have to say a peep. Because you told me right when I said what I said. I'm gonna get it. You were like, nope, not going down this road with you. I'm backing off. And I was like, you wild pussy, right? So so I thought like, nigga, what the fuck's she gonna do to me? Tweet me to death? Like, so, but anyway, so I was just scrolling through my timeline, and I saw a story of an asexual. I clicked on this shit. I read for like 40 minutes, and like one article, and I never go down these Twitter. She really is blocking me out for the listeners. She went and scrolled and grabbed her Android and is moving on with her life and ignoring me right now. But I went and I saw this shit. I don't
want no parts.
No, I get it, because I'm going to tell them. They're going to understand why.
No, they're not.
I saw... No, they actually won't. The crazy shit, they won't understand. But I went and I read article after article after article about this person, and I'm like, asexual? I had to go and fucking Google the definition, because in my brain I was like, wait, so this means you're not like attracted to anyone? Like means what? This is weird. Then I go and Google it, and I'm like, wait, you don't love my nigga? Like, that's... I
really don't want you to do this, because
I'm not going to do it because it's insulting.
Doing it.
But I have to...
No, you're doing it because
I'm doing it?
You're doing something. Because you're saying all of these things, but at the same time, you're not actually providing any true information.
Okay, true.
And so...
I mean, I'm telling you how it happened, so I don't want it to...
That's fine, but you're saying enough that people listening...
Are they judging? Okay. I want to be fair.
You're not.
I'm not being fair? Okay, so...
Not.
But make a long story short, and I'm okay.
I'm gonna make a long story short.
I'm gonna listen back to this.
He came
out. No, wait, listen. I'm gonna listen back to this, and if I feel like I'm being unfair, I'm gonna listen to myself. I listen objectively. So I violated. I want to say that I violated.
No, you totally did.
That's why I wanted to go to that straight up that I violated, and I'm not violated. I say violated in my terms. I don't mean violated like I didn't use a bad word. I said
dismissive.
I said this whole thing is a myth.
That's hella dismissive and hella disrespectful, because you're talking about somebody's lived life.
And I'm not I didn't try to finesse you into going down this road. I swear to God. So if you want to stop, we can stop.
You had to know that you dated me.
I swear it was the weed,
it's
and
fine.
I just couldn't shut up.
I'm not going to go any further than the fact that I do think that you were being unfair in your depiction of the story, only because, yes, you're talking of your perspective, but you're introducing something that most people probably don't know about asexuality, but you're not actually providing any true context to what that means.
And she said that in her articles, for the record. Like, she said that people do that to her. So that's why I felt like, okay, I did go down that road, and I just read that. Like,
so you saying it to your listeners, saying, she's asexual, and this is what I got from what I read. That's what you got. That's not.
And that's why I said it was fair.
So it's setting it up for people to be like, what? How can she feel that?
Sure. Okay. So that was, I swear I didn't mean to do that. Normally I don't have to finesse you. Like, I'll just say it. Like, the fuck. But I really wasn't, and I just couldn't shut up about it. But make a long story short,
he was wrong.
I feel like I wasn't tactful. But I don't feel bad about my feelings, if that makes sense. I tried to think about that. Like, I'm trying to be fluid and move on, but I'm trying to, that's realistically.
But it's bullshit. You know why?
Why?
Because your feelings do not matter
towards someone else.
Yes. That's like saying, I don't agree with you being gay. Who gives a fuck what you
I feel like it's different. I feel like it's different.
Not,
I feel like that's different.
First of all, homosexuality and asexuality are on the spectrum. So how is it actually different?
How?
You just don't want to. I
feel like I want to Google that.
You want to invalidate.
I don't want to invalidate. I don't.
Everything about what you said.
I do.
Yes. And it's not right. It's fucked up.
I feel like you don't love. Like, what does that mean? Like, you don't fucking...
It may not... First of all,
how is that
there are
possible?
Different degrees of asexuality.
Okay. And that's why I wanted to be fair. That's why I wanted to be fair.
But you weren't fair at any given point. That's what's killing me. I was being fair. I only know...
No, you fucking left me for dead. You left me for dead in the middle of war.
Because I wasn't getting dragged for this shit. You led with... Basically, your existence is a myth.
I didn't mean existence. See, that's why I feel like
that's how she exists. She exists as an asexual person.
Asexual.
It's a myth. Like, who the fuck are you?
I just felt like
nigga, I was sitting in my basement on my laptop and now I feel like I can tell you. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yo, you see that's
if I was her, I would have done the same thing. I would dead ass do the same thing. Like, who are you to tell? Like, who are you?
God, okay.
I don't agree with
the
it.
Definition. Oh, that's sexual. Never mind. Now I was just gonna say, see, this shit ain't real, but it was another.
There are different degrees of it, and if you were paying attention to her timeline, she'd shared infographics that showed the different types of asexuality. There are people who don't want to have intercourse, but they still want contact with people. Like there are different.
And I understand that. I don't understand. See, that's why I understand you don't want to have sex and whatever it came from.
There were like 5
but like
to
you're not
7
attracted to something. Like you don't have fucking feelings.
So you can lend yourself to understand that brain chemistry can make you feel depressed or make you feel manic. You can understand that. I'm assuming you understand that people are born homosexual. I'm assuming you do understand that.
I'm learning it.
Okay.
I didn't always feel that way. I was like, nah, that shit is learned, my nigga, when you young, whatever. But the more I talk to people, and like a big shout out to Michael Trey, who I had him on the podcast because I legit wanted to ask him. You know me, I don't Google shit. I'm asking a person who lives it. When he said it, like, and a couple of other people I talked to, like, nah, I was born that, like, it's the only way I know. So that's why I say I'm learning.
I liked girls before I liked boys. Nobody taught me that.
I didn't. Let me tell you, just for the, I wish this wasn't on the record because I don't know if I've ever said this to you. I felt like that was a phase in your life. I swear, like I was like, that shit. In my brain, I'm like, that shit ain't real. Especially now because you're with a man. Like you know what's crazy? When you were with a man, when you got with a man, I was like, all right, she's back to normal.
I'm sure most of my family felt that way. But
that's fucked up, maybe in his own way.
That's
but I'm just
a bisexual person that it seems that you have to be either or.
Nah, see, I'm not really even saying that. The crazy shit is...
No, because you assumed that because I was with him that part of my life ceased to exist.
I guess I shouldn't have said back to normal, but I did feel... Just knowing you personally, I felt like your lesbian thing was a phase. Because I just know... I know you. Like, that's why it's weird.
You're clearly not well if that's what you believe.
So, like... See, I actually didn't want... Like, this is like...
I'm sorry.
No. I'm just... It's not, don't be sorry, but I mean, I feel like I'm apologizing for you because now I have mad questions and I don't like... I don't even want the...
We can talk off the record. That's
like, that's what I'm... Yeah, that's why... Because I was like, all right, this is... Now I got a whole fucking separate line of questions now, but... So... We were saying, like, I'm just learning that you're born this way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So...
Well, the point that I was making, if you can understand those things, it will extend further to that. Because this is a spectrum of sexuality. It's not...
I feel like it's a spectrum of some other shit then. I feel like it's and I'm not, and this is where maybe she feels like I'm not qualified to say that, and that I'll give her.
I'm very afraid for what you're about to say.
No, I'm not going to say anything bad, but I just feel like that's where it's different, because I feel like, no, you're saying you don't, like, you don't have the feelings. I feel like that's not sexual. I feel like that's like a... I don't want to say a disorder, maybe, because I don't want to be...
No, don't do that.
I'm not gonna... Yeah, I don't mean it that way. But I mean, like, there's...
You can't do that.
I don't want
to do that would, again, these are all related, even if you don't want them to be.
And if I'm being
heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, pansexuality, and then you have transgender stuff as well. All of these things are in the same family. To suggest that an asexual person has a disorder.
That's why I didn't want to use that word. I didn't want to use that word.
Suggest that actually, you're not really gay, you have a disorder, which people used to try.
And that's why I didn't feel like about you. I never felt like you had a disorder. I wasn't she needs Jesus. I was never like that. But I was just like, all right, you experimenting. Like, that's how... Is that wrong?
I mean, it's inaccurate for sure.
Okay. I feel like this is crazy to me. And
don't speak of people's sexual orientations or identities as disorders.
Did you feel like
harmful as hell?
So did you feel like you didn't, like, you never liked men? Like, were you not? You didn't know to like men?
I'm not a lesbian.
I mean, then I'm saying, like,
oh no, it's just that didn't click for a while. my first crush.
I feel like I know the answer to this, but I can't think right now.
Occasionally, I visit her Facebook page because she's still beautiful.
I feel like
she was my camp counselor, and I think I was like 4 or 5.
Damn, I definitely knew. I can't wait till you say this. You have to say.
I can't say
Wait,
it.
you have to say it. Do I have to pause the podcast
You
for this?
must. Why would I do
Because
that?
I feel like I know the answer, but it's not clicking right now.
I'm not doing that to myself.
I would totally say it if I knew it, but I can't think.
Well, I would deny it. But yeah,
Anyway.
So that was my first like hard eyes. Like, oh my God, her hair smells good.
Really?
My first boy crush? I don't think like.
Wait, so do you think that was just like? See, I'm going.
What was that?
Clearly coming. No, I'm not saying. You putting words in my mouth. See, that's what niggas with PhDs do. That shit is
I don't have a
annoying.
PhD.
But like,
You're not even qualified to talk about this.
that's why I'm coming as a clear like person with a question right now. I'm asking you the lines from personal experience and not like a professional, because that's not what I am. I'm a nigga with a microphone. So,
that's accurate.
yo, niggas with microphones would be an ill cover. I gotta do that. That would be ill. But anyway, I gotta remember that. NWM. That's ill. But anyway.
He's writing the post-it in case you guys were wondering.
No, that's a fact. That's ill. Do you feel like... Did you feel like it was sexual, or did you feel like you just like, oh... Like,
okay, well, that's two different conversations because...
Okay.
Wait.
I guess I built that up for a weird question, but...
You did.
You just like, oh, her hair smells good.
I
Like,
liked her.
is that
Like, it was just like infatuation. I liked her a lot. I remember the way she used to wear her hair. I remember how she walked. I remember like a lot of small details, just like you do when you like somebody. And granted, this is 20 plus years ago. Like, I still remember those things. That was my first real crush.
That's crazy.
I still kind of crush on her though.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't wait
She's
till
so
this shit is
cute.
over and I gotta ask.
But yeah, I can't remember my first real life boy. Oh, you know what? Oh God, I think his name was Ryan. I think his name was Ryan.
From Manhasset?
From Manhasset. Who the hell?
Oh. I was like, wait.
No, we were in like pre-K. He was a little white boy. And he used to wear, I don't know if you guys remember the sweatpants that have the elastic at the ankle. So they would always kind of sit up like 3 inches above. He would wear some dark blue ones.
Oh my, you remember that nigga? Come on, man.
Michael could tell you. Michael could tell you this right now.
From 30 years ago?
And, you know, sometimes white guys get this haircut.
That's more than a
You guys can't see this, but when white guys get this haircut, they sometimes get like a little triangle of like a wisp of hair right here.
Niggas get that too?
Yeah, niggas do not have wisps. Okay. First of all, it's biologically impossible. I'm kidding.
True.
I'm kidding. But yeah.
Oh, you right.
No. And I would walk behind him.
Wisps.
And I would look at his little ankles and those sweatpants and that little wisp of hair. Ryan. So, girl without a name was first, and then Ryan.
So.
Then he kissed some hussy and it was over.
Damn. Did you feel like men are done forever? I want to... There you go.
Possibly
the
white
early
men were done
seeds.
forever.
You can't do that. You can't just write off...
Yes, the hell I can.
That contradicts everything you just said.
No, it doesn't.
Unbelievable. You are unbelievable.
It's cool.
Listen, man. I guess that's...
I'm scared.
Nah, I'm not even going to ask that question. I think that's it for me. Do you have anything else? I feel like I had something else to say.
I really want to know what you were about to say.
Are you against interracial couples? I'm in an interracial relationship, obviously. But you just said you hated white men, so I was just wondering.
I don't hate white men.
That's almost see, that's why I didn't want to ask, because I'm like, see, I wish one of my white friends were here to defend himself.
That would be a terrible idea. I've dated outside of my race before. The most significant one you're aware of, he was an Indian man. Shut up, okay?
I'm not laughing at the Indian part. That shit is personal for the listeners. Like, he's just a funny guy.
Well, for me, it was challenging after a while because, again, we discussed living in this town and then me going to a really black place. I wasn't really familiar with what microaggressions were. I didn't understand anti-blackness at the time. I just know that certain things were said that made me uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't think that this is
with him?
Work. Yes.
What?
Okay. So
Whoa, yo, that shit just like I never knew that.
Okay, so you didn't know everything that happened in my relationship.
Wow, let me tell you for the listeners, I just called her a piece of shit. Like on the way here over this dude. I don't even know how he came up. I swear. I brought him up. Like I just no, we were talking about I'm like, wait, you never been to fucking Edison's? And she was like, no, I never. And I was like, but you, and I just pulled a random name out, and that's how he came up. And I said, you're a piece of shit. I'm like, you broke that guy's heart. That's terrible. I broke his
heart, yes.
But I didn't know that. Like, you know what? You know what's crazy? And maybe it's good that I bought. I would swear I almost ended this fucking podcast 2 minutes ago. But I'm obviously in an interracial relationship.
Yes.
Obviously.
If it works, but like, go for it.
No, I'm just going to say, like, I mean, this is the thing, though. If she was anything, I would still love her. But I just love her for being my wife. And the crazy shit is, like, I don't think of... Like, I didn't go into it like that. Like, all right, so there's a white woman. Like, it just worked. Cause you know why? Because I don't have a type, and I'm not saying I'm not one of those people who don't fucking see race. Obviously, I know she's white. Like, obviously, I know she's a white woman, and I'm not like I didn't look at it like that. That's not fucking true. You know what I mean?
This is just surprising to me a little bit.
Really?
Because
that's why I'm glad.
Tremendously.
I'm glad we're still rolling.
Because in like you had a spell. You had a run of white chicks. So I
look
just
where
thought,
we're from.
That doesn't mean anything.
The numbers.
That doesn't mean anything. Not really.
Nah, actually, you know what's crazy? See, what you feel like... I swear, if I wrote this fucking list out, my shit is pretty even.
That's fine. But it was pretty... Like, I just remember, I was just like, damn, really? And it's like, okay, so is he just... He's going to be one of those black guys.
Oh,
that was a concern.
What's the concern? Like, I'm not black, I'm OJ? I'm not that kind of guy.
Not necessarily that it is a thing, and I don't know.
I know it's a thing. That's why I'm like, hold on. Like, what's the consensus?
Shit, like, just like, I don't date black women because that is a thing. Nah,
that's not true. I'm not that kind of guy.
It's okay. Very harrowing.
So when you say that, I'm like, nah, that's not me. Like,
well, I know that's not you, but
no, real shit. Like,
I know that's not you, but
no, let's talk about it.
I, having been through that, was something for me to deal with because I just remember, like, we went to the beach and he's like, oh, I have to get SPF like 80. Like, I can't come home dark. I'm like,
word?
You're already darker than me, bro. So, like,
he was dark.
He was darker than me.
No, what? Not like me, but like,
no, I'm saying he was darker than me.
Definitely, and you darker now. I guess because you fucking
live life. What the fuck? Leave me alone. So that happened. He would tell me like when he would go back
Twitter.
He would go back to India, and they would ask him questions like, "Do black people smell like garbage?"
Word, that's terrible.
It is terrible. His parents did not like me because I was black. So I think that was probably my first real personal experience, like up close with like prejudice. I don't know if I will call it racism.
That's racism. You know what's crazy? Because a friend of mine was in a interracial relationship, and he was telling. I never knew this. This, like I said, this is still new to me. When we're gonna get back to that, but he would tell me it from the other side, and I was like. I kind of just looked at it because he was a man.
What do you mean by the other side? Well, he was black and she wasn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's black and she... I mean, the other side is as a man.
Okay.
I thought it was because he was a man, and I'm like, oh, like, they feel like he'll never... And I knew a lot of it because he was black. Don't get me wrong.
No, there is totally a different set of concerns with the gender shit.
Okay, sure. But I felt like... And the craziest shit... I'm going to tell you some crazy shit. I think even my wife knows this. I used to... Even though I was dating white women or... doing whatever I was doing, I used to look at a black woman and a white guy like, what the fuck? I swear, it's the fucking strangest thing.
No, it's...
Now I think it's strange that I used to think that, and I'm still like, I don't...
It's common and you're not the fuck alone.
I really looked at a black woman like, you with this motherfucker? Like, you with this nigga here? Like... And then I got older and I was like, oh, that's fucked up, because I wouldn't want
Have you seen the vitriol that Serena got?
I didn't see that, actually.
Oh, well. It's plenty.
I just remember seeing, I was like, and you can go find a tweet. I said, no Serena Williams slander will be tolerated on my timeline. I swear to God, I did not look and I didn't see.
Oh, well, I saw
it wasn't good.
And it's fucked up because it's like...
She's from Bompton.
That is not what I was about to say. that she got a lot of flack because of the way that she looked, the way that her body is. They would call her a man. They would call her all sorts of shit. A lot of people, including black men. So if this is the treatment that
I don't fuck with niggas that do that. And for the record, I want the record to show. Nah, the record.
It's very common.
Because you know what?
So the fact that she found a nigga who...
No, he's a nigga too. White people are niggas too. You
I
gotta
have
roll
to
with
think
it.
about
You
your
gotta roll
audience
with
and
it.
my audience, so they don't know that I will call a chair a nigga. But this
True.
nigga, like, he worships her. So a lot of people, specific to black men especially.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of...
Okay.
You see, you know,
I feel like Serena was off limits. Even though I know what I just said, Serena was off limits to me.
I feel like black women stood up for her, though. Because, like, Jesse Williams got his white girl. And he's like, niggas like, oh, he got him a white girl. Y'all want to talk? She's like, nobody really attacked Jesse Williams for that
I'm not
shit.
that kind of guy. I don't salute niggas for dating white women. It's who you... Like, I don't be like, oh, you got one too, bro.
It happens.
You know, let me tell you. Because I see
disgusting.
niggas say that. And they're like, yo, nah, because I've seen this white... And I'm like, nigga, what are you telling me for? Like, so I want... And I know, because you know why? I really want to separate myself. No, that's what... I want to separate myself from that. Like, nah, bro, I'm black every day of the week. I'm not... that. And the crazy shit is, I swear to God, before I started this podcast, and when 444 came out, it fucked me up. Because I watched that same documentary that I guess Hove watched. When I heard him say that, I looked at my wife like... Oh, I'm like, this nigga's bugging. That might have been exactly what I said. I think I looked at my wife and was like, this nigga's bugging.
But to answer your question, I don't have an issue with interracial relationships. I don't give a damn. I think most black women really don't give a damn. Our issue is with the type of niggas that you just mentioned.
Don't point at me.
I'm sorry, I feel it strongly. The ones who denigrate black women in order to uplift the non-black women that they're with. It's unnecessary.
I think it's unnecessary too. I'm gonna say that.
Be with who you want to be with. But when you're like, I'm with this non-black woman because black women are loud, fuck you. I'm with this non-black woman.
I like when chicks come and say same thing about your nasty ass mamas. Whatever they say, like, you know, when
it's not necessary.
Because I don't fuck with that. So if I don't know what niggas think of me, I don't know, but let's just make the lines clear.
Well, every time you say something like that, I throw up a black power fist because I thought you were lost for a little while.
Yo, and that's what, this is another thing. Like, I'm tired. That's what gets me. I'm walking with my wife through fucking Manhattan. I'm walking. A nigga tried to give me a CD. I'm like, bro, what am I doing with that shit, my nigga? Like, and like, get out of here. He was like, like, I sort of looked and I was like, nigga, I'm like, see, it's 6 of y'all, so I'm gonna give it a pass. If I wasn't with my wife, it was on, but I was like, I'm so
sorry.
No, I'm telling you. So the nigga he said some shit, and I was like, yeah. Like, he just looked at it, and I was like, yo, bro, what? And he was like, nah, I seen Get Out. And I'm like, see, I don't like when niggas do that to me. Don't give me that sunken place bullshit. Do that to the niggas like OJ. Don't do that to the niggas like me.
Upon looking, there's no way to discern the difference.
But see, that's what gets me, because I'm like, no, every other fucking... When I talk about asexuals, niggas don't want to touch that. When I talk about what affects me...
It's completely fucking different.
It's different?
It's completely different.
In my feelings, it's the same. Like, to my feelings, when niggas do that to me, I'm like, bro, don't do that, my G.
I won't invalidate your feelings, but when people are attacked based on like their sexual identity and their sexuality, completely different. You're not going to not get a job for these reasons. You're not going to be held down in society because you're dating a white woman. If anything, that increases your social capital.
Says who?
Society.
No, see, that's what... you sound like me with the others.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. It may make you uncomfortable because you don't look at your wife as your white wife. You look at her as your wife, and that's beautiful, and I'm glad for it, because otherwise I probably couldn't fuck with you.
I feel
honestly.
like people...
But it's the truth. This is why you don't tend to see as many white men with black women, because for them, that's
okay, got you.
A step down. For y'all, that is socially, supposedly a step up.
Says who? No, I don't
who
feel that
says
way.
any of it? That's clear. I know you.
You know
don't
when
feel
Hov
that
says
way.
like
And
rich
you don't
nigga, still nigga, whatever he says, that shit was real to me. I'm like, yo, just because I'm with a white wife don't make me any like people. They don't look at me any better. Like, oh, smart man. Like, do they? I don't feel like they should.
They should not.
I would tell them if they said to me like when that shit happens. I'm like, bro, don't do
You're
that.
relying on what you would express.
Okay.
Upon looking, no one knows. And And there are many, and honestly, it could be a generalization, but I feel like the vast majority of men who don't date black men, who don't date black women, make it known. They wear it as a badge of honor.
That shit is weird
It's
to me.
weird.
That shit is weird.
It's disgusting and it's hurtful. That's the shit that we don't fuck with. We don't give a damn. Lay with a frog. But when you sitting here like, oh, nah, I'm going to fuck with this frog before I fuck with a black woman. Now it's like, well, what the fuck?
And you know what else is crazy? I said it to my, because I agree. Like, and I feel you. Because I said it to my wife also, like, we just have these weird talk. I'm just me. This would be me without the microphone. So we have and I just ask her like weird shit. And I was like, yo, I wouldn't ever want you to love me because like I'm a black guy.
It happens often.
And like that's what like if she was like, oh, like okay, and if she felt that way, we wouldn't be together. I wouldn't. My morals wouldn't let me live with that.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
And I'm so like, this makes me happy as your friend to hear you say this shit. But there are black niggas who don't give a fuck.
They're
weird okay with
I gotta
being,
sit some of them niggas down too, I guess, because
they are okay being the big black man with the big dick to the white woman. They are okay with that shit. I've seen niggas say as much on Twitter, and it's mind blowing. I think there was a scene, I didn't watch it, Insecure. I believe there was like a scene with some weird threesome, and I guess like the white girls were unattractive or some shit. But I saw a dude say like, you know, at least he got him 2 white girls. Like,
see, that's
why?
Them niggas, they don't speak for me. Like, so I get it.
They don't speak for you, and that's good. That's very good. But they're out there. And it's those ones that make us react. Because I promise you.
And that should be reacted on. So that's why I'm like,
I promise you, the average black woman ain't out here walking down the street like, look at this nigga with his white bitch. Like, no, we don't give a shit.
That's why I feel
now, if you walk past and be like, look at that nappy hair, look at this silky shit right here. Be like, well, what the fuck? Like,
but I feel like who would do like? I want to know who does that. Like that's. I know. Obviously, it was exaggerated. I get that, but I just
it happens.
And I know it's a thing, but I guess I didn't realize when I heard you speaking of it. I'm like, oh, I guess this is more severe than I thought. Like
it happens. I promise you. Like I've met a dude, and I'll be like, oh my god, he's so fine. Ooh, he's got a good job. Ooh, he seems to respect women. Yes, that's important. Damn, I wonder if he likes black women. Like that is a thought. It's a question that has to be asked. And if you're not comfortable asking it, then you're going to do some Facebook searching to see if he's seen with more white women than black women. It's like, oh shit, dang, we might be running a risk here.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Like Tiger Woods. That's some shit. Ugh. See, that's another thing. Like, I feel like that's a different kind of guy than me. Like, I feel like Tiger, like...
I mean... For many reasons, but...
I mean, obviously, obviously, I could name probably 13. But I almost made some wild jokes. Like, mad jokes just went off in my head, but I'm not going to go down that road. But, like, I feel like he, like, a guy that's like, yeah, like, and when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. When Kanye said that, It was hilarious then. And the crazy, not hilarious, but when it was like, yo, this nigga's wild. I'm like, you wild, boy. Yeah. Like, and then like I got older and then like, you know, obviously my wife is white. And now I'm like, damn. Like now I think like, why did he say that? Like now I'm like, oh, come on. Like, don't do that. But I guess that's the game.
Unfortunately, there's the historical aspect, and it's always going to be a thing. It's always going to be something. One way or another. And it's unfortunate, but like it makes sense when you really think about it in the grand scheme of things. I think the concern is when it's an unhealthy connection. When you're with her because she's white. Sure. Or she's with you because you're black. Or the black guy's with the Spanish girl because the Spanish girls are this or this. Like that shit, that's when it's an issue for me.
I'm going to tell you some other shit too. And I agree.
I'm afraid.
I agree. No, some real shit. My cousin said to me, this was when Dash was here. Mm-hmm. When he came cooking, he was like, yo. I was like, yo, why don't you just open a fucking bar at this point? Like, what you niggas waiting for? Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, listen, if you want to do that, we can go half. He was like, have your wife go and get the paperwork. And I was like, what? Like, at first it went over my head and I grabbed it. I'm like, wait, why my wife? Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, yeah, right. You ain't got no felony. I looked at the nigga like, bro, what? Like, and I knew his brain was like, oh, she's white, she could get it. Like, and I said to him, I'm like, first, I was like, yo,
wild.
I said to him, I'm like, yo, first, bro, like, don't do that to me. Like, I mean, like, yo, don't bring my wife in. You know, like, there's like, I'm like, to any nigga, don't do that, bro. Like, don't even, you don't know her, bro.
Wild.
So when he said it to me, I'm like, who has felony? I looked at him like, nigga, what? Like, I looked at him like, and I really like, and that was just the end of it, because it was so like outrageous to me, because we were talking about some other
How
shit.
did he say it? Like, he was just like,
It happened just like that. He went past it.
Crazy.
I was like, the exact shit, and I swear, and I have 2 witnesses if you want to, like, I'll name them if I had to, if this shit came back. We were right in front, I was like, yo, why don't you niggas just open up a bar? Like, you're in the fucking clubs every weekend. Like, and he was like, listen, if you want to do that, have your wife go to get the paperwork, because the liquor license is hard. And he started talking about the liquor license, and I was like,
but you just...
No, but as he was talking about it, I'm like, wait, what?
That's
and he was
crazy.
and he's like, yeah, because that shit is hard to get. And I was like, wait, what? My wife though? And he was like, oh yeah, you ain't got no feeling. And I'm like, nah, bro. And it fucked me up. I'm telling you, I was like, what? I'm like, oh, that's what you like. I felt like a lot. That's why I just dropped it, because it was just not the right time for it. But I swear, I said to myself, I was like, the next time I see him, I'm gonna and the next time I see him, we're gonna have this same conversation with him.
Voice change.
Because that shit really fucking bothers me.
No, that's insane.
I've been black my whole life. That shit bothers me. Like, and that's why I'm like, yo, and you know why? Because I see niggas on Facebook and all other shit doing the we black people gotta stick together, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, you don't even feel that. Like, you don't even...
Black people can harbor and exhibit anti-blackness just like everybody else.
That's what...
That shit is...
And what he said to me was like kind of anti-black to me. Like,
it was.
Cause you know why? Because if an old white man said it to me, me and him would have had it out right there.
No.
So when he said it, I was like, oh no, nigga. You equal.
That shit would have been very, very clear to you.
Sure. Of course.
The fact that it came from that,
I caught that shit like Odell. Like, hold on, bro. What? So,
no, we absolutely are able to uphold anti-blackness amongst ourselves, and we do all the time with respectability politics and the way that we're supposed to carry ourselves. We're enforcing, or rather, like thrusting upon each other like anti-black values, and it's really unnecessary. But we do that, and they do the same thing to us.
So now that circles us way back around to the episode 5.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, that was I don't know how that happened. Maybe it was the weed, but it really all just made sense. So with all that being said, like when I don't feel like
that, because you asked me about poor people.
Yeah, I did. That was exactly where we teed off at.
The pores.
So,
gang.
Like, with all that being said, that's why I don't feel bad for when I say poor people, I don't equate being black with being poor, because I think that's also part of the fucking problem. But that's who I feel like has the most problems with the shit I say. It's like a person who I grew up with or whoever. Like, I had fucking Gerald on the podcast, and he was like, nigga, you got a Christmas tree over there? Like, and I was like, what, nigga? And he was like, yeah, he was like, black people don't have Christmas trees. I looked at the nigga, and it's on the record, you guys can go listen to it for yourself. I was like, nigga, what? And he was like, oh, not true, we had Christmas trees. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I really was like, see, now, if anyone else said that would be the most ignorant shit you could ever say. But when you say it, like,
it's fact. That's weird.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like the shit I say, like, it be to the niggas that just don't have no fucking sense. Like,
I mean, unfortunately,
and that's how you got. Listen, Tupac, and I'm gonna let you finish. Tupac knew he had to go gangster. He had to do that. He had to throw up West Side and wear bandana and do ignorant shit to get through to people, because he was so far ahead of the curve. I felt like to scoop up all the people. Like, if he would have just came out on some militant shit, we'd look at him like J. Cole. We wouldn't fucking take him serious.
Oh God.
No, because I'm right. But if Gucci gets on that shit like Pac, I swear to God, the world would change. I know that sounds mad ignorant. But to get to, and my point was, I was saying all that to get to some niggas, you got to show them like, yo, look, I could be just like you. I get it. But this is not the right way. Come with me.
That's fine. I think the issue here is you need to be clear on who you are trying to address. Because everyone's not going to respond to that. Everyone's not going to respond to that.
True, and I know that, but that's one thing I'm like, you gotta just chalk that up to the game, bro. If it don't apply, let it fly. And I know, and because that's why I bring it up, because you had your strong feelings about it. Like, hold on, bro. And for people who don't know, I'm referring to episode 5.
Like I
forget the title because I'm a piece of shit right now.
I had strong.
Beasia came up with the title, and even on the episode, I couldn't remember it.
Oh, wasn't it the Bree Newsom joint?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The Bree Newsom. Right, sure. Episode 5. Unlearn the knowledge of some shit.
Like, I mean, I understand some people are only going to learn if you like grab them by the head and smush their face in and shit. But some people just don't respond to that. If that's the group that you're directing your message to, okay, cool.
Then sure. But as far as everybody else, like,
you might be
challenge the knowledge of the episode.
You might be alienating some people through your delivery. And it's not that I disagree with everything that you say. I don't. I was listening to the episode. I went to go pick up my son. I came home. I was cooking dinner. Like, there were moments.
I know I was creeping on your tweets when you was. I remember atting you at one. I was like, "Is this shit about me, my G?" Like,
because I snapped.
I'm like, at me though. Like,
I snapped at something, but for a little bit, I was like, "Okay."
I'm gonna put that episode in the show notes also.
You and Niasia, is it?
Beasia.
Beasia. Excuse me.
That's racist. See.
My bad, sis.
Yo, see, you mad condescending. That's why I know I got to get you on the podcast, because you just like me.
First of all, I am not. Anywho's, y'all were talking about how we don't support each other and we tear each other down.
Niggas tear each other down.
People can do that.
True.
For 2 black youths or young adults, because I think she's younger than us. I'm like, why would you sit here and perpetuate that idea? Because there are plenty of us out here who hold each other down. There are plenty of us out here who are dedicated to shopping black. There are plenty of us out here who want to support each other. And I think the crab in a barrel mentality, it's real, but I don't think that's exclusive to black folk.
I didn't necessarily, and let me also explain this. I didn't necessarily mean it as the crabs in a barrel. And that's why I did the follow-up episode, because I didn't mean it as the crabs in a barrel episode. I mean, as a standpoint, I meant it as more like, see how what you just said? There's people out here like us, we're fighting, and I felt like, listen, what I say, if it wakes up the motherfuckers I want to talk to, no, just hear me out. You're shaking your head already.
You make me
just like
itch.
a fucking black woman. No, I'm sorry.
First of all.
Yeah, and the hand clap's going. There we go. No, for real. But like, I felt like, look, because the people like you that vouch for and are gonna say what you just said, which is an excellent point, because you are right. Now you're gonna speak louder. Like, if you heard that episode, I know it sounds fucking stupid, because I read Dedrick's email, and Dedrick was like, hold on, bro.
Because he's here. But
understands. That's why I knew. It worked, but that's why I'm like, yo, 2 people who I know feel the same. You guys were in sync about everything, no? In his email. So many people were in sync in his email. So many people hit me up like, yo, I agree with your uncle, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, so good. So you know. But on the other end of it, there were so many fucking people that was like, wow, true. You know what? I got to do better. On the other end, and I know, just when you shake your head, I swear, for the 13 of you, I have at this point, 31,000 listeners. Mm-hmm. At the time, for the 13 people to be like, yo, and I fucking have the numbers, I will pull that shit up here somewhere.
I don't need your numbers, get to your point.
But the 13 people that were like, yo, I don't know, bro. That felt like you and my uncle. I'm not kidding. It was hundreds of people that was like, wow, like over 300 at the time that was like, yo, wow, true. Like, people hitting me up like, yo, good point. Like, you know what? I got to do better for myself, and I got to spread love instead of negativity.
And that's beautiful. I'm not against those things. Spreading love is nice. Positivity over negativity is great. However, there were certain things that you said that's not it.
I felt like Pac.
You know what?
Because like, Dolores Tucker was mad.
Mission, I can't.
Nah, because Dolores Tucker was mad, but she didn't see his whole message. And you know what? She was right. Because when you look back at it, she was right. But if you let Pac do him, like, I felt like, you know what? Just trust me for the overall message. You got to just lead him through this.
Do that. I support you fully. You asked me to listen, and I just heard some things that were really problematic. And not only were they problematic, I thought that you would think differently. So I was a little surprised. But beyond that, you know...
So you thought I was LeVar Ball. That's why this white woman thing was so revealing to you.
Please, that shit's been an issue since like 2004. But no, because even that was an interesting stance to me. And I was listening to y'all talk about him and I was like, that's cool. But then it was like, but nobody wants to buy his shoes. It's quite possible that nobody wants the fucking shoes. Nah, like, that's quite possible. Niggas didn't want the shoe
because he was LeVar. But
there's some people, I'm sure, that's fine. But when you put up a shoe next to another shoe, and if niggas don't want that shoe, that doesn't mean they don't support black business. Nigga, I just don't want your fugly ass shoe. I want a fucking Converse.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I don't support my people. So it's like you guys were kind of speaking in extremes, and we've established that that's what you do, and some really harsh generalities. And it's okay to make generalizations, but for me, there are certain ones that if you perpetuate, I think is more harmful than not. To suggest that black people don't support each other, I think it's just a harmful thing to say. Because there are people who believe that, white people who believe that, and who try to use that against us. And it's just not true.
And the black dollar is the most powerful. It's true, like $1.3 trillion a year or some crazy shit.
I just thought you were about to just like go halfway Marcus Garvey on me, and I wasn't ready for the transition. But yeah, I just don't think that it's a good look to perpetuate some of that shit. I think it's okay to say, you know, use qualifiers sometimes, almost minis. But to just be like, black folk don't do this. Like, I don't care. I love my people. You ain't gonna sit here and talk shit about them like that because it's not true. It's just simply not true.
So for all the niggas listening, make sure you go to subscribe to the podcast to support other black businesses. Like you niggas said.
But if you don't like them shoes, don't buy them shoes, bro.
I don't even think he sent them shits out yet.
Them shits was ugly.
Them shits was... That's another story for another day. But in all seriousness, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
I was going to say, I eat black bread, nigga. I support this shit.
My gums is black.
My elbows. Pro-black,
I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I feel like this was a really helpful talk. Maybe
you stress me out so much.
Why? I feel like, see, for the listeners, I know she's gonna be texting me all week like, nah, bro, we gotta take that part out. But I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna just let it all roll. Cause you know what? They need every part of this. And
it's like 3 hours long. Everybody's gonna unsubscribe.
No, they're not. They love this shit. I love you guys.
It was very nice being here. Thank you.
You want to give out your handles, your Twitter handle? Want to spell it for people?
Yeah, sure. It's at Bipolar, BYEPOLEHER, Bipolar.
I'm going to put it in the show notes. Make sure you tell her what a wonderful episode this was. And
if you don't, I'll just like block y'all.
See, that's the problem. There you go, already
being...
Don't, you know what? Don't say shit to her. You know what? Just go block her for no reason. So when she check your account, your shit just be blocked. But I appreciate all of you listening.
See, nobody loves black women.
Oh, shit. On that note...
Love,
as I always say, fuck
grease.
your horoscope. Spread love, especially to a black woman today. Maybe I'll save this episode for February.
That was such an excellent ending.
I'm serious.
No, that was actually perfect.
I'm gonna text my mom right now. What time is it?
Let's call Shannon.
Yo, listen, I'm out. Listeners, whatever you're listening on, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go rate this. So if you're in the iTunes store, go ahead. If you feel like I deserve 1 star, go for it. But if you enjoyed what you heard, go ahead and give that 5 stars. And if you're on anything else, like this and share it with somebody who you think needs to hear it.